In the beginning, there was nothing. Not even the void itself existed. But from the primordial chaos, a vast emptiness emerged, known as Ginnungagap, the yawning void. This was no ordinary space, but a cosmic chasm, the very foundation of existence, where fire and ice would meet in the most ancient of battles, setting the stage for creation itself. From the realm of Muspelheim, the land of fire and light, a radiant flame began its journey. This fire, fierce and eternal, was not born of warmth, but of raw, destructive energy. As it drifted toward the void, it began to shape the very essence of what would come to be, igniting the first spark of cosmic transformation in the dark embrace of Ginnungagap. In the opposite direction, from the realm of Niflheim, the land of ice and shadow, a chilling presence arrived. The ice, ancient and unforgiving, brought with it the cold that would define the early cosmos. The contrast between fire and ice, both forces of creation and destruction, was about to become the very foundation of all that would come to be. When the fire and ice met, the very laws of the universe bent. The collision was not just physical but cosmic, a violent clash of opposing forces. The energy released from their convergence was so immense that it reshaped the very fabric of reality, giving birth to the primordial forces that would define the Norse Cosmos and the beings that would soon emerge from this chaos. In the heart of the confluence, a new form of matter began to take shape. A strange glowing pool emerged from the chaos, a mixture of fire and ice that defied all known laws. This was the birth of something new, a place where the old rules no longer applied, and from which the first beings of Norse mythology would soon emerge. From the molten mixture, a being of immense power began to form. This was Ymir, the primordial giant, born from the fusion of fire and ice. His body was not made of flesh or bone, but of the very essence of creation itself. He was the first of the frost giants, and his existence marked the beginning of life in the Norse cosmos, a life that would be shaped by the eternal struggle between fire and ice. Ymir, the first giant, stood as the embodiment of the cosmic conflict between fire and ice. His presence was not just physical but symbolic, a living representation of the duality that shaped the universe. He was the first to be born from the void, the first to witness the chaos that gave birth to everything else, and the first to set the tone for the endless battle that would define the Norse mythological cosmos. Alongside Ymir, another being emerged from the primordial mixture, a cosmic cow named Audhumla. She was not just a creature of flesh, but a symbol of nourishment and life. Her presence marked the beginning of sustenance in the void, as she fed from the primordial elements, her milk flowing from her udders into the endless expanse, nurturing the very essence of existence itself. Audhumla's licking of the frost and ice was more than a simple act of consumption. It was a cosmic event, a moment of creation that transformed the frozen void into flowing water. The melting ice gave birth to the first rivers, the first streams, and the first signs of life that would soon emerge from the void, marking the transition from chaos to order. As the cosmic forces continued to interact, the void began to shift. Glowing runes appeared in the air, etched in the very fabric of space, marking the beginning of the structured cosmos. The once chaotic expanse started to form patterns, lines, and structures, laying the foundation for the universe that would soon be shaped by the actions of gods and giants alike. With the first signs of life, the earth began to respond. Trees grew from the primordial soil, their roots reaching deep into the void, connecting the surface to the cosmic forces below. The sky darkened, filled with swirling clouds and signs of an impending storm, as the cosmos began to take on its own character, shaped by the forces of fire, ice, and the beings that would soon rule over it. As the void continued to evolve, the first gods emerged from the cosmic chaos. Odin, Vili, and Ve, the three brothers who would become the architects of the Norse cosmos, appeared in the landscape. Their arrival marked the transition from the primordial chaos to the structured universe, as they began to shape the world, laying the foundation for the gods, giants, and mortals that would soon inhabit the cosmos. The gods stood in a circle, their hands raised to the sky, and with their divine powers, they began to carve the world from the void. Their actions were not just physical but spiritual, their energy manifesting in glowing symbols and waves of cosmic force, that shaped the land, the sky, and the sea, transforming the primordial chaos into a structured cosmos ruled by divine will. As the gods worked, the void began to take on the form of a living world. Mountains rose from the earth, valleys carved by time and water, and rivers flowed through the land, carrying the essence of creation. The world was no longer a void but a place of life, where the forces of fire and ice continued to shape the landscape, and where the beings born from the chaos would soon find their place. The world was not yet stable. A massive storm began to form, with lightning cracking across the sky, and the forces of fire and ice clashing in the heavens. The storm was not just a weather event, but a cosmic battle, a reminder that the world was still shaped by the eternal struggle between opposing forces. The very sky itself was a battleground, and the gods had to maintain balance to keep the cosmos from falling into chaos again. After the storm, the world settled into a calm, serene state. The first humans emerged from the earth, their eyes filled with wonder and awe at the world they had been born into. They were not the creators, but the inheritors of the cosmos, shaped by fire, ice, and the gods. Their existence marked the beginning of the mortal world, where the eternal conflict between the forces of creation and destruction would continue to shape the fate of all beings. As the first settlements began to form, the gods watched from the heavens, their expressions solemn and distant. They had shaped the world, but they could not control the fate of its inhabitants. The world was now a place of life, but it was also a place of danger, where the forces of fire and ice would continue to clash, where giants and gods would battle, and where the mortal world would be shaped by the eternal struggle between light and darkness. In the depths of the void, a new threat emerged. A shadowy figure, whose form shifted and changed, began to move toward the world of the gods. It was not a being of fire or ice, but something darker. Something that sought to disrupt the balance that the gods had worked so hard to maintain. This figure represented the eternal chaos that threatened to consume the cosmos, and it would soon become a central force in the Norse mythological narrative. The gods sensed the threat and gathered in a circle, their faces grim as they prepared to face the new danger. The shadowy figure was not just a threat to the world, but a challenge to the very order that the gods had established. They raised their weapons, their divine energy glowing, and prepared to defend the cosmos from the chaos that sought to destroy it, knowing that this battle would define the fate of all creation. The battle between the gods and the shadowy figure raged on, a cosmic war that shook the very foundations of the world. Light and darkness clashed in a struggle that spanned the heavens and the earth, with each god and each force of creation fighting to maintain the balance that the cosmos required. The outcome of this battle would determine whether the world would remain stable or fall into eternal chaos. The shadowy figure was defeated, but its defeat was not final. It vanished into the void, leaving behind only a lingering sense of dread. The battle had been won, but the threat remained, a reminder that the cosmic balance was fragile, and that the eternal struggle between order and chaos would continue to shape the fate of the world. The gods had saved the cosmos, but they knew that the void would always be a place of danger, a realm where new threats could emerge. The void returned to its dark, empty state, but it was no longer the same. The first stars began to shine in the sky, their light piercing the darkness and marking the end of the primordial age. The void was still vast and empty, but it was now a place of potential, where life would continue to emerge from the cosmic forces of fire and ice, where gods and giants would continue to battle, and where the eternal struggle between creation and destruction would define the fate of all things. The camera slowly pans out to reveal the entire cosmos, with Ginnungagap at its center, surrounded by the first planets and stars. The void, once empty and dark, had become the birthplace of everything that would come to be. The cosmic forces of fire and ice had shaped the universe, and from that chaos, life had emerged. The cosmos was no longer a void, but a living, breathing world, filled with the echoes of the primordial battle and the promise of a future shaped by the eternal struggle between light and darkness. As the screen fades to black, the face of Ymir appears, his eyes glowing with the power of creation. He is the embodiment of the cosmic struggle, the first being born from the void, and the symbol of the eternal battle between fire and ice. The story of Ginnungagap is not just about the birth of the world, but about the eternal conflict that continues to shape the cosmos. From the void, everything began, and from that beginning, the fate of all things would be determined. The primordial void, Ginnungagap, and the birth of Norse existence. This is the story of how the cosmos was born from the clash of fire and ice, how the first beings emerged from the void, and how the eternal struggle between creation and destruction shaped the world. VFC. In the beginning, there was nothing. But from that nothing, life was sparked and the universe was born. This is the tale of the void, the first place where everything began, and where the forces that govern all existence were first unleashed. In the primordial void, before the birth of gods and men, there existed only the eternal darkness of Niflheim, the realm of ice and mist. Here, in the frozen heart of the cosmos, the first giant was born from the marriage of eternal frost and the primordial void. The ice of Niflheim, ancient and unyielding, gave rise to the first being of the Norse Cosmos. This was not a gentle birth, but a violent emergence, as the cold and the void gave life to the first of the frost giants, who would become the ancestors of all giants in the mythological realm. The ice of Niflheim, formed from the primordial void, began to crack under the pressure of unseen forces. As the ancient ice split, a dark, viscous fluid emerged, flowing like molten night into the black waters below. This fluid was not ordinary, but the essence of the primordial void itself, infused with the power of the frost realm. The emergence of this liquid marked the beginning of life in the Norse cosmos, as the void and the ice merged to birth the first giant, Ymir, whose existence would shape the fate of all worlds. From the dark pool, a massive, formless shape began to emerge, its body made of translucent ice and mist. The creature was not yet fully formed, but its presence was unmistakable. It was Ymir, the first giant, born from the marriage of the void and the eternal frost. The shape was terrifying, with no clear features, only the raw essence of the primordial realm manifesting in physical form. The ice cracked and hissed around it, as if the very world was afraid of its birth. As Ymir rose from the dark pool, its form began to take shape. The pale, cracked skin of the giant was marked by veins of frost, pulsing with the power of the ice realm. The body was massive, larger than any mortal could imagine, and its presence caused the surrounding ice to melt and reform into the shape of a giant. The frost that covered its body began to crack and flow like blood, as if the very essence of the realm was bleeding into its existence. This was the birth of the frost giants, the first beings to inhabit the Norse cosmos. The realm of Niflheim stretched endlessly in all directions, a frozen wasteland of ancient ice and mist. The sky was filled with swirling clouds of dark mist, and the ground was covered in thick, ancient ice that had been formed over eons. The realm was not just cold, but alive with the power of the void, and it was here that Ymir was born. The frost giants, who would follow in his footsteps, were not merely inhabitants of this realm, but creatures of its very essence, shaped by the primordial forces of ice and darkness. Ymir's eyes slowly opened, revealing glowing icy blue orbs that reflected the surrounding mist and ice. The eyes were not just beautiful, but terrifying, filled with the power of the primordial void and the cold of Niflheim. The gaze of the first giant was enough to freeze the very air around it, and the mist that surrounded the realm began to swirl with newfound energy. The eyes of Ymir were not just the windows to his soul, but the reflection of the very essence of the frost realm, and they marked the beginning of a new era in Norse mythology. Ymir stood upon a massive ice platform, its hands reaching out to touch the surrounding ice. The touch of the first giant caused the ice to crack and melt, forming the shape of a giant's body. The platform was not just solid ice, but a manifestation of the realm's power, and it was here that the frost giants were born. The ice that formed around Ymir was not just frozen water, but the very essence of the frost realm, shaped by the will of the first giant and the power of the primordial void. The vastness of Niflheim was revealed in the center of the frozen landscape, where Ymir stood as the first giant. The shadow of his massive figure stretched across the ice, marking the beginning of a new age in the Norse cosmos. The realm was not just a place, but a living entity, and Ymir's presence gave it form and meaning. The frost giants who would follow in his footsteps were not just creatures of the realm, but the very embodiment of its power, shaped by the cold and the void. The frost on Ymir's hand began to spread as he moved, creating intricate patterns and symbols on the ice. The frost was not just a byproduct of his presence, but a manifestation of the power of the realm. The patterns were ancient, older than the gods, and they marked the beginning of the frost giant's existence. The symbols were not just decorative, but a form of communication, a way for Ymir to mark his territory and assert his dominance over the frozen realm. The panoramic view of Niflheim revealed the vastness of the realm, where Ymir's shadow stretched across the ice like a dark banner. The sky was filled with dark clouds and swirling mists, and the atmosphere was thick with the power of the void. The frost giants, who would follow in Ymir's footsteps, were not just inhabitants of the realm, but creatures of its very essence, shaped by the cold and the darkness. The shadow of Ymir marked the beginning of the frost giant's reign, and the realm itself was transformed by his presence. The face of Ymir was a study in ancient wisdom and power. As he looked out over the frozen landscape, the eyes glowed with a cold light, reflecting the essence of the realm, and the expression was one of profound understanding. The first giant was not just a creature of the frost, but a being of immense power, shaped by the primordial forces of the void. His gaze was not just a look, but a command, and the frost giants who would follow him were marked by his presence and his power. Ymir stood in a frozen valley, surrounded by towering ice cliffs that seemed to be shaped by his presence. The ice formations around him were not just natural, but a manifestation of his power, created by the frost and the void. The valley was a place of immense power, where the first giant had claimed dominion, and the frost giants who would follow him were marked by his presence. The valley was not just a place of ice, but a place of ancient power, where the very ground was shaped by the will of the first giant. Ymir's foot stepped on the ice, causing it to crack and melt, and the ice formed a pattern around his foot, as if the frost itself was responding to his presence. The pattern was not random, but a sign of the power that Ymir wielded, and the frost giants who would follow him were shaped by the same forces. The ice was not just frozen water, but a living entity, and it responded to the will of the first giant, creating a bond between the frost and the frost giants. The night sky of Niflheim was filled with stars, but the cold light of the frost realm illuminated the landscape in a way that was both beautiful and terrifying. Ymir's silhouette stood against the dark background, a figure of immense power and ancient wisdom. The ice was not just frozen, but alive with the power of the void, and the frost giants who would follow him were marked by the cold light of the realm. The stars above were not just distant lights, but witnesses to the birth of the frost giants and the beginning of their reign. Ymir's hand reached out to touch a piece of ice, which then transformed into a small glowing crystal. The crystal pulsed with a cold light, and it was a symbol of the power that Ymir wielded. The frost giants who would follow him were not just creatures of the realm, but beings of immense power, shaped by the same forces that gave life to the crystal. The crystal was not just a piece of ice, but a manifestation of the power of the void, and it marked the beginning of the frost giant's existence. The vastness of Niflheim was revealed in the center of the frozen landscape, where Ymir stood surrounded by swirling mists and dark clouds. The realm was not just a place, but a living entity, and Ymir's presence gave it form and meaning. The frost giants who would follow him were not just inhabitants of the realm, but creatures of its very essence, shaped by the cold and the void. The swirling mists and dark clouds were not just atmospheric phenomena, but manifestations of the power that Ymir wielded, and they marked the beginning of the frost giant's reign. The face of Ymir was a study in ancient wisdom and power. As he looked out over the frozen landscape, the eyes glowed with a cold light, reflecting the essence of the realm, and the expression was one of profound understanding. The first giant was not just a creature of the frost, but a being of immense power, shaped by the primordial forces of the void. His gaze was not just a look, but a command, and the frost giants who would follow him were marked by his presence and his power. The panoramic view of Niflheim revealed the vastness of the realm, where Ymir's shadow stretched across the ice like a dark banner. The sky was filled with dark clouds and swirling mists, and the atmosphere was thick with the power of the void. The frost giants, who would follow in Ymir's footsteps, were not just inhabitants of the realm, but creatures of its very essence, shaped by the cold and the darkness. The shadow of Ymir marked the beginning of the frost giant's reign, and the realm itself was transformed by his presence. Ymir's foot stepped on the ice, causing it to crack and melt, and the ice formed a pattern around his foot, as if the frost itself was responding to his presence. The pattern was not random, but a sign of the power that Ymir wielded, and the frost giants who would follow him were shaped by the same forces. The ice was not just frozen water, but a living entity, and it responded to the will of the first giant, creating a bond between the frost and the frost giants. The night sky of Niflheim was filled with stars, but the cold light of the frost realm illuminated the landscape in a way that was both beautiful and terrifying. Ymir's silhouette stood against the dark background, a figure of immense power and ancient wisdom. The ice was not just frozen, but alive with the power of the void, and the frost giants who would follow him were marked by the cold light of the realm. The stars above were not just distant lights, but witnesses to the birth of the frost giants and the beginning of their reign. Ymir's hand reached out to touch a piece of ice, which then transformed into a small, glowing crystal. The crystal pulsed with a cold light, and it was a symbol of the power that Ymir wielded. The frost giants who would follow him were not just creatures of the realm, but beings of immense power, shaped by the same forces that gave life to the crystal. The crystal was not just a piece of ice, but a manifestation of the power of the void, and it marked the beginning of the frost giant's existence. The vastness of Niflheim was revealed in the center of the frozen landscape, where Ymir stood surrounded by swirling mists and dark clouds. The realm was not just a place, but a living entity, and Ymir's presence gave it form and meaning. The frost giants who would follow him were not just inhabitants of the realm, but creatures of its very essence, shaped by the cold and the void. The swirling mists and dark clouds were not just atmospheric phenomena, but manifestations of the power that Ymir wielded, and they marked the beginning of the frost giant's reign. The face of Ymir was a study in ancient wisdom and power as he looked out over the frozen landscape. The eyes glowed with a cold light, reflecting the essence of the realm, and the expression was one of profound understanding. The first giant was not just a creature of the frost, but a being of immense power, shaped by the primordial forces of the void. His gaze was not just a look, but a command, and the frost giants who would follow him were marked by his presence and his power. The panoramic view of Niflheim revealed the vastness of the realm, where Ymir's shadow stretched across the ice like a dark banner. The sky was filled with dark clouds and swirling mists, and the atmosphere was thick with the power of the void. The frost giants, who would follow in Ymir's footsteps, were not just inhabitants of the realm, but creatures of its very essence, shaped by the cold and the darkness. The shadow of Ymir marked the beginning of the frost giant's reign, and the realm itself was transformed by his presence. Ymir's foot stepped on the ice, causing it to crack and melt, and the ice formed a pattern around his foot, as if the frost itself was responding to his presence. The pattern was not random, but a sign of the power that Ymir wielded, and the frost giants who would follow him were shaped by the same forces. The ice was not just frozen water, but a living entity, and it responded to the will of the first giant, creating a bond between the frost and the frost giants. In the primordial void, before the world was formed, there existed the great void of Ginnungagap, a realm of endless darkness and silence. From this void emerged the first beings, the Jotnar, primordial giants born of the ice and fire that would eventually shape the world. Among them was Ymir, the first of the Jotnar, whose sweat became the first of the gods, and whose blood would become the ocean. The birth of gods was not a gentle affair, but a violent, chaotic process born from the clash of opposing forces. The lineage of the Aesir gods, the ruling pantheon of Norse mythology, began with a union that would echo through the ages, a marriage of blood and destiny. In the depths of the primordial world, the first of the gods, Ymir, a colossal Jotnar, lived in the shadow of the great void. His existence was one of endless suffering, as he was born from the ice and fire that consumed the world. But as he grew, so did the chaos that surrounded him. The world was not yet formed, and the forces of creation were still in turmoil. The gods had not yet been born, but the seeds of their existence were planted in the blood and sweat of Ymir. His sweat became the first of the gods, and his body would eventually become the foundation upon which the gods would build their world. In the midst of this chaos, a figure emerged from the shadows, a Jötnar named Bestla, whose beauty was matched only by her power. She was not merely a daughter of Ymir, but one of the first beings to be born of his sweat, a being of immense strength and wisdom. Bestla was a figure of great mystery, her origins shrouded in the ancient lore of the Jötnar. Her presence was felt across the world, and her power was such that even the gods feared her. She was drawn to the sacred grove, where the ancient stones hummed with power, and it was here that she would meet the being who would become her consort and the father of the gods. Bor, the divine figure, was a being of immense power and wisdom, a god of the sky and the stars. His origins were as mysterious as Bestla's, but his purpose was clear. He was drawn to the sacred grove by the power of the Jötnar, and his arrival marked the beginning of a new era. Bor was not merely a mortal or a god, but a being of the highest order, whose blood would be the source of the divine lineage that would rule the world. His appearance was a sight to behold, with his hair blowing in the wind and his eyes reflecting the stars above. He stood in the center of the stone circle, surrounded by the swirling winds and the sound of thunder, a figure of awe-inspiring majesty. The moment of union between Bor and Bestla was one of the most significant events in the history of the gods. Their hands intertwined, and the air around them filled with golden light and swirling energy. The very ground beneath them trembled as the power of their union rippled through the world. This was not a simple marriage, but a sacred bond between two beings of immense power. The gods were not yet born, but the seeds of their existence were planted in this moment. The union of Bor and Bestla would give birth to the first of the Aesir gods, the ruling pantheon of Norse mythology. The light that surrounded them was a sign of their divine nature, and the energy that flowed from them would shape the world for centuries to come. In the center of the stone circle, their union had created a cosmic egg, a being of immense power and potential. The egg was glowing with an ethereal light, and the world around it was filled with swirling galaxies and stars. This was not merely a physical union, but a spiritual one, a moment of creation that transcended the boundaries of the mortal world. The egg was a symbol of the divine lineage that would soon be born, and the power within it would soon be unleashed upon the world. The gods were not yet born, but the egg was the beginning of their journey, a moment of creation that would shape the destiny of the world. The cosmic egg cracked open, revealing the face of a newborn god, Odin, with glowing eyes and a crown of stars. His presence was overwhelming, and the world around him trembled with awe. Odin was the first of the Aesir gods, the first of the divine lineage that would rule the world. His birth was not a simple event, but a moment of cosmic significance. The gods were not yet born, but the power of Odin's existence was felt across the world. His eyes glowed with the light of the stars, and his crown was made of the very essence of the cosmos. The birth of Odin marked the beginning of the divine lineage, a moment that would echo through the ages. Odin, the firstborn of Bor and Bestla, stood upon a cliff in the midst of a storm, his eyes closed and his hands raised to the sky. The wind howled around him, and the ground beneath him was cracked and torn, a testament to the power that flowed through him. His presence was one of immense strength, and the gods who would follow him were drawn to his power. Odin was not merely a god, but a being of immense wisdom and power, a figure who would shape the destiny of the world. His birth was the beginning of the divine lineage, a moment that would echo through the ages, and his presence would be felt across the world. Odin walked through the ancient forest, his eyes glowing with a divine light that illuminated the darkness. The trees swayed in the wind, and the air was thick with the scent of magic. His journey was not merely a physical one, but a spiritual one, a quest for knowledge and power. The gods had not yet been born, but Odin's presence was felt across the world. His path was one of trials and tribulations, and he would face many challenges on his journey to become the ruler of the gods. The forest was a place of mystery, and Odin's presence only added to its otherworldly atmosphere. Odin stood at the edge of a cliff, looking out over the vast, misty landscape that would soon be his domain. The sky was filled with swirling clouds, and the sound of thunder echoed through the air. The world was not yet fully formed, but Odin's presence was felt across the land. He was not merely a god, but a being of immense power and wisdom, a figure who would shape the destiny of the world. The misty landscape was a symbol of the unknown, and Odin's presence was a beacon of light in the darkness. His journey was far from over, and the gods who would follow him were yet to be born. Odin stood in the center of the ancient stone circle, his eyes glowing with a divine light that illuminated the darkness. The ground beneath him was cracked and torn, a testament to the power that flowed through him. The stone circle was a sacred place, a symbol of the divine lineage that would soon be born. Odin's presence was felt across the world, and the power of his existence was a force that could not be ignored. The air around him was filled with swirling energy, and the very ground beneath his feet trembled with power. His journey was one of trials and tribulations, and the gods who would follow him were drawn to his strength. Odin stood in the center of the cosmic egg, a being of immense power and potential. The egg was glowing with an ethereal light, and the world around him was filled with swirling galaxies and stars. This was not merely a physical union, but a spiritual one, a moment of creation that transcended the boundaries of the mortal world. The egg was a symbol of the divine lineage that would soon be born, and the power within it would soon be unleashed upon the world. Odin's presence was a force that could not be ignored, and the gods who would follow him were drawn to his power. Odin walked through the ancient forest, his eyes glowing with a divine light that illuminated the darkness. The trees swayed in the wind, and the air was thick with the scent of magic. His journey was not merely a physical one, but a spiritual one, a quest for knowledge and power. The gods had not yet been born, but Odin's presence was felt across the world. His path was one of trials and tribulations, and he would face many challenges on his journey to become the ruler of the gods. The forest was a place of mystery, and Odin's presence only added to its otherworldly atmosphere. Odin stood at the edge of a cliff, looking out over the vast, misty landscape that would soon be his domain. The sky was filled with swirling clouds, and the sound of thunder echoed through the air. The world was not yet fully formed, but Odin's presence was felt across the land. He was not merely a god, but a being of immense power and wisdom, a figure who would shape the destiny of the world. The misty landscape was a symbol of the unknown, and Odin's presence was a beacon of light in the darkness. His journey was far from over, and the gods who would follow him were yet to be born. Odin stood in the center of the ancient stone circle, his eyes glowing with a divine light that illuminated the darkness. The ground beneath him was cracked and torn, a testament to the power that flowed through him. The stone circle was a sacred place, a symbol of the divine lineage that would soon be born. Odin's presence was felt across the world, and the power of his existence was a force that could not be ignored. The air around him was filled with swirling energy, and the very ground beneath his feet trembled with power. His journey was one of trials and tribulations, and the gods who would follow him were drawn to his strength. Odin stood in the center of the cosmic egg, a being of immense power and potential. The egg was glowing with an ethereal light, and the world around him was filled with swirling galaxies and stars. This was not merely a physical union, but a spiritual one, a moment of creation that transcended the boundaries of the mortal world. The egg was a symbol of the divine lineage that would soon be born, and the power within it would soon be unleashed upon the world. Odin's presence was a force that could not be ignored, and the gods who would follow him were drawn to his power. Odin walked through the ancient forest, his eyes glowing with a divine light that illuminated the darkness. The trees swayed in the wind, and the air was thick with the scent of magic. His journey was not merely a physical one, but a spiritual one, a quest for knowledge and power. The gods had not yet been born, but Odin's presence was felt across the world. His path was one of trials and tribulations, and he would face many challenges on his journey to become the ruler of the gods. The forest was a place of mystery, and Odin's presence only added to its otherworldly atmosphere. Odin stood at the edge of a cliff, looking out over the vast misty landscape that would soon be his domain. The sky was filled with swirling clouds, and the sound of thunder echoed through the air. The world was not yet fully formed, but Odin's presence was felt across the land. He was not merely a god, but a being of immense power and wisdom, a figure who would shape the destiny of the world. The misty landscape was a symbol of the unknown, and Odin's presence was a beacon of light in the darkness. His journey was far from over, and the gods who would follow him were yet to be born. Odin stood in the center of the ancient stone circle, his eyes glowing with a divine light that illuminated the darkness. The ground beneath him was cracked and torn, a testament to the power that flowed through him. The stone circle was a sacred place, a symbol of the divine lineage that would soon be born. Odin's presence was felt across the world, and the power of his existence was a force that could not be ignored. The air around him was filled with swirling energy, and the very ground beneath his feet trembled with power. His journey was one of trials and tribulations, and the gods who would follow him were drawn to his strength. Odin stood in the center of the cosmic egg, a being of immense power and potential. The egg was glowing with an ethereal light, and the world around him was filled with swirling galaxies and stars. This was not merely a physical union, but a spiritual one, a moment of creation that transcended the boundaries of the mortal world. The egg was a symbol of the divine lineage that would soon be born, and the power within it would soon be unleashed upon the world. Odin's presence was a force that could not be ignored, and the gods who would follow him were drawn to his power. Odin walked through the ancient forest, his eyes glowing with a divine light that illuminated the darkness. The trees swayed in the wind, and the air was thick with the scent of magic. His journey was not merely a physical one, but a spiritual one, a quest for knowledge and power. The gods had not yet been born, but Odin's presence was felt across the world. His path was one of trials and tribulations, and he would face many challenges on his journey to become the ruler of the gods. The forest was a place of mystery, and Odin's presence only added to its otherworldly atmosphere. Odin stood at the edge of a cliff, looking out over the vast misty landscape that would soon be his domain. The sky was filled with swirling clouds, and the sound of thunder echoed through the air. The world was not yet fully formed, but Odin's presence was felt across the land. He was not merely a god, but a being of immense power and wisdom, a figure who would shape the destiny of the world. The misty landscape was a symbol of the unknown, and Odin's presence was a beacon of light in the darkness. His journey was far from over, and the gods who would follow him were yet to be born. Odin stood in the center of the ancient stone circle, his eyes glowing with a divine light that illuminated the darkness. The ground beneath him was cracked and torn, a testament to the power that flowed through him. The stone circle was a sacred place, a symbol of the divine lineage that would soon be born. Odin's presence was felt across the world, and the power of his existence was a force that could not be ignored. The air around him was filled with swirling energy, and the very ground beneath his feet trembled with power. His journey was one of trials and tribulations, and the gods who would follow him were drawn to his strength. Odin stood in the center of the cosmic egg, a being of immense power and potential. The egg was glowing with an ethereal light, and the world around him was filled with swirling galaxies and stars. This was not merely a physical union, but a spiritual one, a moment of creation that transcended the boundaries of the mortal world. The egg was a symbol of the divine lineage that would soon be born, and the power within it would soon be unleashed upon the world. Odin's presence was a force that could not be ignored, and the gods who would follow him were drawn to his power. Odin walked through the ancient forest, his eyes glowing with a divine light that illuminated the darkness. The trees swayed in the wind, and the air was thick with the scent of magic. His journey was not merely a physical one, but a spiritual one, a quest for knowledge and power. The gods had not yet been born, but Odin's presence was felt across the world. His path was one of trials and tribulations, and he would face many challenges on his journey to become the ruler of the gods. The forest was a place of mystery, and Odin's presence only added to its otherworldly atmosphere. In the beginning, there was only the void, an endless abyss of ice and darkness, where no light dared to venture. From this primordial void, a giant named Ymir emerged, born not from love or life, but from the raw chaos of existence itself. No parents, no lineage, no warmth, only the cold, silent void. His body was immense, his form a nightmare of bone and flesh, a being of pure destruction and creation. This was the first step in the birth of the world, the first sacrifice that would give shape to all that exists. Ymir, the hermaphrodite, could reproduce asexually, and from his legs and armpits, more giants were born. The frost melted, and from it, a cow named Audhumla emerged, nourishing Ymir with her milk. This was the beginning of life, but also the beginning of the end. The gods would soon arrive to end this chaos, to bring order from the void. From the melting frost emerged a cow named Audhumla, whose name means abundance of humming. She was not merely a creature of the ice, but a conduit of life itself. Her milk nourished Ymir, the primordial giant, and in return, she was nourished by the salt licks in the ice. The salt was not just a substance, but a key to the universe's creation. As she licked the ice, she revealed the first runes, the first signs of language, the first whispers of meaning in a world without sound. The cow's presence marked the first moment of life in the void, the first breath of the cosmos. From her, the world would be shaped, and from Ymir, the first beings would be born. The ice was not a barrier, but a prison, and the cow was the key to breaking it. As Ymir slept, his body began to expand, growing larger with each passing moment. From his sweat and his legs, more giants were born, a race of beings that would become the architects of the world. But as the frost melted, so did Ymir's body, and from his flesh, the world was shaped. The gods, led by Odin, arrived on the scene, wielding axes of destruction. They did not merely kill Ymir, they transformed him. His body became the foundation of the world, his bones, the mountains, his blood, the seas, and his flesh, the land. The sacrifice was not just of a being, but of the very essence of existence itself. The world was born from death, and from destruction, creation was born. The bones of Ymir rose from the melting ice like the bones of a giant, forming the first mountains of the world. The gods, with their mighty axes, carved and shaped the earth, using Ymir's bones as the framework for the cosmos. The earth was not a flat plane, but a living, breathing entity, shaped by the body of the primordial giant. Mountains were formed from his bones, and valleys from his flesh. The earth itself became a living being, a body of the cosmos, and from it, all life would grow. The world was not merely a place, but a being, a living entity shaped by the sacrifice of the first giant. The gods had not just created the world, they had created the body of the world itself. From Ymir's skull, the sky was formed, the dome of the heavens that would hold the stars, the planets, and the gods themselves. The gods took the skull and lifted it into the air, creating the heavens, the realm of the gods, and the boundary between the world of men and the world of the divine. The sky was not just a covering, but a prison, a cage that held the gods and the world in balance. The stars began to shine, not from the sky itself, but from the divine essence that had been infused into the world by the gods. The sky was a living entity, shaped by the body of the giant, and it would be the eternal home of the gods and the eternal prison of the world. The blood of Ymir became the seas, the vast oceans that would cover the earth and give life to the creatures of the deep. The blood was not just red, but dark and ancient, carrying the essence of the giant's life, and with it, the memory of the cosmos. The seas were not just water, but the very essence of the world, the lifeblood that nourished all living things. The gods took Ymir's blood and poured it into the earth, creating rivers and streams, and from it, all life would be born. The oceans were vast and dark, filled with the power of the giant's body, and from them, the first fish, the first whales, and the first creatures of the deep would emerge. The blood of Ymir was not just the source of the seas, but the source of life itself. From the body of Ymir, the world was shaped, but it was not yet complete. The gods, in their wisdom, knew that the world needed inhabitants, beings to live, to breathe, to love, and to die. So they took two pieces of wood, one from an ash tree, one from an elm tree, and they breathed life into them. These were Ask and Embla, the first humans, the first children of the world. The gods gave them breath, mind, speech, and appearance, and they named them Ask and Embla, meaning ash and elm in Old Norse. They placed them on the shore, surrounded by a fence, and gave them a home, a world, and a purpose. The world was not just a place, but a stage, and Ask and Embla were the first actors in the grand drama of existence. The world was divided into 9 worlds, each one connected by the great tree, Yggdrasil, the world tree that held the cosmos together. The upper world, Asgard, was the realm of the Aesir gods, the realm of wisdom, war, and magic. The middle world, Midgard, was the realm of humans, a place of life, death, and struggle. The lower world, Vanaheim, was the realm of the Vanir gods, the realm of fertility, nature, and the earth. These worlds were not separate, but interconnected, and the tree Yggdrasil was the bridge between them. The gods, the humans, and the creatures of the earth all lived in this cosmic web, bound by the tree, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir, and guided by the wisdom of the cosmos. The gods, led by Odin, were not mere observers of the world's creation. They were the creators, the shapers, the ones who gave form to the chaos. Odin, the chief of the Aesir gods, sacrificed one of his eyes to drink from the well of wisdom, and he became the god of knowledge, war, and poetry. He gave life to the world, shaped it with his hands, and guided it with his will. The gods were not just divine beings, but the very essence of the world itself. They were the creators, the protectors, and the destroyers. The world was not a place, but a living entity, shaped by the gods, and the gods themselves were shaped by the world. The sacrifice of Ymir was not just the beginning of the world, but the beginning of the gods themselves. From the flesh of Ymir, the earth was formed, and from the earth, the first forests grew. The trees were not just plants, but living beings, shaped by the sacrifice of the giant, and they became the homes of the creatures of the world. The animals, the birds, the beasts, all emerged from the earth, shaped by the gods and the world itself. The earth was not just a surface, but a living being, a body of the cosmos, and it was shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the gods were the creators, the protectors, and the destroyers of that entity. The animals of the world emerged from the earth, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The deer, the wolves, the birds, all were born from the flesh of the giant, and they were given life by the gods themselves. The animals were not just creatures, but symbols of the world itself, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the earth. The sky was dark, filled with stars, and the earth was full of life. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, shaped by the gods and the sacrifice of Ymir. The animals were the first to inhabit the world, and they were the first to understand the meaning of the cosmos. The first humans, Ask and Embla, stepped into the world, their eyes wide with wonder, their hearts full of life. They were not just creatures, but beings of the cosmos, shaped by the gods and the sacrifice of Ymir. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and they were the first to inhabit it. The forests were full of life, the animals were full of movement, and the sky was full of stars. The humans were not just observers, but participants in the cosmic drama, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the world itself. The sacrifice of Ymir was not just the beginning of the world, but the beginning of the humans themselves. The gods watched the world evolve, seeing the first civilizations form, the first cities rise, and the first cultures develop. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The humans were not just creatures, but beings of the cosmos, shaped by the same forces that shaped the world itself. The gods were not just divine beings, but the very essence of the world, and they were the creators, the protectors, and the destroyers of that world. The sacrifice of Ymir was not just the beginning of the world, but the beginning of the gods themselves, and the beginning of the cosmos. The first cities began to form, with humans building homes, gathering around fires, and creating the first cultures. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The humans were not just creatures, but beings of the cosmos, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the world itself. The cities were not just buildings, but symbols of the world, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the earth, the sky, and the sea. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the humans were the first to inhabit it, and the first to understand its meaning. The world at night was a place of mystery, with the stars shining down on the earth, the sea reflecting the light of the sky, and the forests whispering secrets of the cosmos. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The night was not just darkness, but a time of reflection, a time of understanding, and a time of connection to the cosmos. The humans, the animals, the gods, all were part of the same entity, and they were all shaped by the same forces that shaped the world itself. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the sacrifice of Ymir was the beginning of everything. The world was not static, but a living entity, moving and shifting, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The earth was not just a surface, but a body, and it was shaped by the same forces that shaped the sky, the sea, and the forests. The movement of the world was not just physical, but spiritual, and it was a reflection of the cosmic drama that was unfolding. The gods were not just divine beings, but the creators, the protectors, and the destroyers of the world. And the world was not just a place, but a living entity, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the cosmos. The humans, the first inhabitants of the world, began to live in harmony with the earth, the sky, and the sea. They were not just creatures, but beings of the cosmos, shaped by the same forces that shaped the world itself. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the humans were the first to understand its meaning. The gods, the animals, the plants, all were part of the same cosmic drama, and they were all shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the humans were the first to inhabit it, and the first to understand its purpose. The dawn of the world was a moment of rebirth, with the sun rising over the earth, the sky brightening, and the sea reflecting the light. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The dawn was not just a time of day, but a symbol of the cosmic drama, a time of renewal, and a time of understanding. The humans, the animals, the gods, all were part of the same entity, and they were all shaped by the same forces that shaped the world itself. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the sacrifice of Ymir was the beginning of everything. The Earth's surface was not static, but a living entity, moving and shifting, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The continents were not just land, but bodies of the earth, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the sky, the sea, and the forests. The movement of the earth was not just physical, but spiritual, and it was a reflection of the cosmic drama that was unfolding. The gods were not just divine beings, but the creators, the protectors, and the destroyers of the world. And the world was not just a place, but a living entity shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the cosmos. The sky was not just a covering, but a living entity filled with stars, the moon, and the divine essence of the cosmos. The world was not just a place, but a living entity shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The sky was not just a place, but a symbol of the cosmic drama, a time of renewal and a time of understanding. The humans, the animals, the gods, all were part of the same entity, and they were all shaped by the same forces that shaped the world itself. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the sacrifice of Ymir was the beginning of everything. The sea was not just water, but the very essence of the world, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The waves were not just movement, but symbols of the cosmic drama, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the earth, the sky, and the forests. The sea was not just a place, but a living entity, and it was full of life, full of mystery, and full of the divine essence of the cosmos. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the sea was part of the same cosmic drama, part of the same sacrifice, and part of the same creation. The forests were not just trees, but living entities, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The trees were not just plants, but symbols of the world itself, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the earth, the sky, and the sea. The forests were not just a place, but a living entity, and they were full of life, full of mystery, and full of the divine essence of the cosmos. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the forests were part of the same cosmic drama, part of the same sacrifice, and part of the same creation. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the sacrifice of Ymir was the beginning of everything. The world's surface was not static, but a living entity, moving and shifting, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The continents were not just land, but bodies of the earth, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the sky, the sea, and the forests. The movement of the world was not just physical, but spiritual, and it was a reflection of the cosmic drama that was unfolding. The gods were not just divine beings, but the creators, the protectors, and the destroyers of the world. And the world was not just a place, but a living entity, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the cosmos. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the sacrifice of Ymir was the beginning of everything. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, in perfect harmony, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The earth, the sky, and the sea were not just elements, but symbols of the cosmic drama, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the world itself. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and it was full of life, full of mystery, and full of the divine essence of the cosmos. The gods were not just divine beings, but the creators, the protectors, and the destroyers of the world, and the world was not just a place, but a living entity, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the cosmos. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the sacrifice of Ymir was the beginning of everything. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, in perfect harmony, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the gods. The earth, the sky, and the sea were not just elements, but symbols of the cosmic drama, and they were shaped by the same forces that shaped the world itself. The gods were not just divine beings, but the creators, the protectors, and the destroyers of the world. And the world was not just a place, but a living entity, shaped by the sacrifice of Ymir and the will of the cosmos. The world was not just a place, but a living entity, and the sacrifice of Ymir was the beginning of everything. The gods watched from above, and they were not just observers, but the very essence of the world itself, shaped by the same forces that shaped the earth, the sky, and the sea. In the primordial void of Norse mythology, before the world was formed, the gods dwelt in the realm of Asgard, their power immense and their will absolute. These divine beings possessed the ability to shape existence itself, to bring forth life from nothingness, and to mold the very essence of being. The gods, particularly Odin and his brothers, had long pondered the question of what would inhabit the newly formed world of Midgard, the realm of mortals. They sought not just to create, but to imbue their creation with purpose, with consciousness, with the capacity to endure and thrive in the harsh world they would soon shape. Odin, the Allfather, along with his brothers Vili and Ve, descended from the celestial heights of Asgard to the realm of the living. Their journey was not merely one of physical descent, but a symbolic passage from divine omnipotence into the domain of mortal existence. They were not merely observers, but creators of the very first beings to inhabit the world of men. The gods, in their divine wisdom, understood that the creation of humanity was not a simple act, but a sacred ritual, a moment of profound significance that would echo through all time. They chose to fashion the first man and woman from the bodies of two trees, as a testament to the connection between humanity and the natural world. The gods found two mighty trees in the sacred groves of the world. The ash tree, Askr, stood tall and proud, its roots delving deep into the earth, symbolizing strength and endurance. The elm tree, Embla, was graceful and elegant, its branches reaching skyward like the arms of a praying figure. These trees, ancient and powerful, were chosen not by chance, but by divine decree. They were not merely trees, but vessels of potential, waiting to be awakened into the form of human consciousness. The gods believed that by taking the essence of these trees, they could create beings with the capacity to grow, to learn, and to evolve, just as the trees themselves had grown through the centuries. With reverence and awe, the gods placed their hands upon the bark of the ash and elm trees. The air around them crackled with energy as divine power flowed from their palms into the sacred wood. The essence of the trees began to transform, their forms shifting and becoming fluid, as if they were being drawn into the very core of the gods' will. The light that emanated from their hands was not merely illumination, but the manifestation of their divine intent. The transformation was not immediate, but a gradual process of awakening, as if the gods were breathing life into the dormant spirit of the trees themselves. As the divine energy flowed, the trees began to reshape themselves into the form of two human figures. The first man, named Ash, took the essence of the ash tree, embodying its strength and resilience. The first woman, named Embla, took the essence of the elm tree, embodying its grace and adaptability. Their forms were not yet fully human, but they were unmistakably alive, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The gods stood in silent reverence as these first beings took their first steps, their movements uncertain but filled with purpose. The moment marked the birth of humanity, not as mere animals, but as beings with the capacity for thought, feeling, and the divine spark of life. The first humans stood in the clearing, their eyes wide with the wonder of their new existence. The world around them was not yet fully formed, but it was beginning to awaken to their presence. The wind whispered secrets, the birds sang melodies, and the trees swayed in a rhythm that seemed to speak of ancient knowledge. Ash and Embla, as they were called, were not merely physical beings, but vessels for the divine will. They were the first to experience the full weight of consciousness, the first to feel the pull of the earth beneath their feet and the sky above. Their existence was a bridge between the divine and the mortal, between the eternal and the temporal. The gods, having completed their sacred task, approached the first humans with a mixture of pride and solemnity. They had not merely created beings, but had given them the tools of survival and growth. The gods, particularly Odin, bestowed upon Ash and Embla the gifts that would define their existence. The first gift was the ability to speak, to communicate with one another and with the world around them. The second was the capacity to feel, to experience joy, sorrow, love, and pain. The third was the gift of understanding, to comprehend the laws of the world and the meaning behind their existence. These gifts were not mere blessings, but the foundation upon which all human civilization would be built. The gods' hands hovered above the first humans, and golden light flowed from their palms into the bodies of Ash and Embla. This light was not merely illumination, but a transfer of divine essence, a gift that would shape their destiny. The light entered their bodies, filling them with knowledge and purpose. It was a moment of profound significance, where the divine and mortal realms met, where the gods' will was directly imprinted upon the first human beings. The light was not just a symbol, but a tangible force that would guide them through the trials of existence, giving them the wisdom to understand their place in the cosmos and the strength to endure the challenges that lay ahead. With their divine gifts bestowed, Ash and Embla were placed in the realm of Midgard, the world of men. This realm, vast and untamed, was not yet fully formed, but it was alive with potential. The landscape was harsh and unforgiving, filled with dangers and mysteries. Yet it was also filled with beauty and wonder, a place where life could flourish and grow. The first humans stood at the center of this world, their presence marking the beginning of human civilization. They were not alone, for the gods had given them the ability to communicate and to understand, but they were also responsible for the future of their race. The world was theirs to shape, and they were to be the first to do so. As they walked through the forest, Ash and Embla began to understand the power of their existence. The trees swayed in response to their presence, as if recognizing the divine spark that had been placed within them. The world around them was not just a backdrop, but a living, breathing entity that responded to their actions. They were not merely observers of nature, but participants in its evolution. The gods had given them the gift of consciousness, but they also gave them the responsibility of growth and change. The forest, the animals, the very earth beneath their feet, all responded to their presence, as if they were the first to truly understand the world's hidden connections. As the night fell, Ash and Embla looked up at the stars, their eyes reflecting the light of the heavens. The night sky was filled with ancient constellations, each one a symbol of the gods' power and wisdom. They were not merely gazing at the stars, but trying to understand the meaning behind them. The gods had given them the gift of knowledge, but they also gave them the gift of curiosity. The stars were not just lights in the sky, but a map of the divine will, a guide to their destiny. They understood that they were part of something greater, a cosmic dance that had been set in motion long before their birth. From above, the gods watched as Ash and Embla continued their journey through the world. Their presence was not merely observed, but felt, as if the very air around them was charged with divine energy. The gods had not simply created the first humans, but had set in motion a chain of events that would shape the future of all existence. They had given Ash and Embla the tools to survive, to thrive, and to grow. But they had also given them the responsibility of choice. The world was vast and full of possibilities, and it was up to the first humans to determine what path they would take. On a hilltop, Ash and Embla stood as the first humans, looking out over the vast landscape that would soon become their home. The world was not yet fully formed, but it was beginning to take shape under their presence. The first signs of human settlements were beginning to emerge, small structures built from the earth and wood, a testament to their growing understanding of the world. The gods had given them the ability to create, to build, and to shape their environment, but they had also given them the gift of imagination. The world was not just a place to survive in, but a canvas to be painted upon, a space to be transformed and improved. Working together, Ash and Embla began to build their first shelter, using the knowledge and skills that the gods had given them. The shelter was not just a place to live, but a symbol of their growing understanding of the world. They worked with purpose, their hands moving in harmony as if they were one being. The gods had not only given them the ability to create, but had also given them the wisdom to understand the importance of cooperation. The shelter they built was not just a structure, but a foundation upon which future generations would build their lives. As the first humans continued to grow and evolve, more beings began to emerge from the trees, each one carrying the divine spark that had been placed within Ash and Embla. The settlement grew, expanding into a community of beings who shared the same purpose and destiny. The gods had not merely created the first humans, but had also set in motion the process of human evolution. Each new being was not just a copy of the first, but a unique expression of the divine will, shaped by the environment and the experiences of their time. In the growing settlement, Ash and Embla lived together with their fellow humans, working in harmony to build a life for themselves. The world was not yet fully formed, but it was beginning to take shape under their presence. The gods had given them the gift of consciousness, but they had also given them the gift of responsibility. They were not just surviving in the world, but were actively shaping it. The community was not just a collection of individuals, but a living entity, shaped by the shared experiences and the collective will of its members. Standing before a sacred tree, Ash and Embla reflected on their journey and the purpose of their existence. The tree was not just a symbol of their origins, but a reminder of the divine will that had shaped their lives. The gods had given them the gift of consciousness, but they had also given them the gift of understanding. They understood that their purpose was not just to survive, but to grow, to evolve, and to leave a legacy for future generations. The tree stood as a witness to their journey, a reminder of the divine spark that had been placed within them. As dusk fell, the first humans gathered around a fire, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. The fire was not just a source of warmth, but a symbol of their growing understanding of the world. The gods had given them the gift of fire, a tool that would allow them to survive and thrive in the harsh world. The fire was also a symbol of their connection to the divine, a reminder that they were not alone in their journey. The flames danced and flickered, casting shadows on the faces of the humans as they shared stories and experiences, building the foundation of their community. By the fire, Ash and Embla shared a meal, their expressions peaceful and content. The food was simple, but it was enough to sustain them, a reminder of the gods' provision for their survival. The meal was not just sustenance, but a symbol of their growing understanding of the world. They had learned to live off the land, to take what they needed, and to give back to the earth. The gods had given them the gift of knowledge, but they had also given them the gift of humility. They understood that their existence was not just about survival, but about harmony with the world around them. As the night deepened, the first humans slept under the open sky, their bodies resting as their minds continued to process the world around them. The stars above were not just lights in the sky, but a reminder of the divine will that had shaped their existence. The gods had given them the gift of consciousness, but they had also given them the gift of dreams. In their sleep, they dreamed of the future, of the world they would shape, and the legacy they would leave behind. The night was not just a time of rest, but a time of reflection, a moment to consider the path they had taken and the journey that lay ahead. As the sun rose over the horizon, the first humans began their day, their bodies moving with the rhythm of the earth. The gods had given them the gift of time, a sense of the passage of days and seasons. They understood that their existence was not just a moment in time, but a part of a larger cycle of growth and change. The morning light was not just illumination, but a symbol of new beginnings, of the endless potential that lay before them. The first humans were not just surviving in the world, but were actively shaping it, creating a legacy that would endure for generations to come. Ash and Imbla walked through the thriving settlement, their figures moving with purpose and determination. The community was not just a collection of individuals, but a living entity that was growing and evolving. The gods had given them the gift of creation, but they had also given them the gift of responsibility. The settlement was not just a place to live, but a symbol of their shared destiny. The first humans understood that their existence was not just about survival, but about growth, about building a world that would be worthy of the divine spark that had been placed within them. The first humans worked together, building, creating, and living in harmony with the world around them. The gods had given them the gift of cooperation, a sense of shared purpose that would guide them through the challenges of existence. The settlement was not just a place to live, but a testament to their ability to thrive in the world. The first humans were not just survivors, but creators, shaping the world according to their understanding of the divine will. The harmony they found in their work was not just a reflection of their unity, but a symbol of the divine order that governed their existence. Standing together, Ash and Embla looked out over the world they had helped to shape. The settlement was not just a place, but a symbol of their journey, of the divine spark that had been placed within them. The gods had given them the gift of life, but they had also given them the gift of purpose. The world was not just a place to live, but a canvas to be painted upon, a space to be transformed and improved. The first humans understood that their existence was not just about survival, but about leaving a legacy, about shaping the world in a way that would endure for generations to come. As the sun set behind them, Ash and Embla walked into the horizon, their figures growing smaller as they moved into the vastness of the world. The gods had given them the gift of consciousness, but they had also given them the gift of freedom. The world was not just a place to live, but a space to explore, to discover, and to create. The first humans were not just the beginning of humanity, but the foundation upon which all future generations would build. The divine spark that had been placed within them would continue to grow, to evolve, and to shape the world in ways that no one could predict. Their journey was not just their own, but a symbol of the eternal cycle of creation and growth that defined the very essence of existence. In the beginning, when the void of chaos reigned, there existed a cosmic tree of immense proportions, known as Yggdrasil, the world tree. This ancient ash tree, towering above all realms, served as the axis mundi of Norse cosmology, connecting the 9 worlds in a sacred web of existence. Its roots delved deep into the underworld, its branches reached into the heavens, and its trunk stood as the foundation of all life, death, and rebirth. This is the story of Yggdrasil, the eternal tree that binds the cosmos together. The trunk of Yggdrasil was not merely a tree, but a living conduit of cosmic energy, its massive girth reaching up to the very heavens. The bark bore ancient runes and symbols, carved by the gods themselves, marking the tree as a sacred pillar between worlds. The trunk pulsed with an inner light, a steady rhythm that matched the heartbeat of the universe. It was said that the gods would gather beneath its canopy to make decisions that would shape the fate of all realms. The tree was not just a symbol, but a living entity, its roots and branches interwoven with the very fabric of existence. Yggdrasil's roots delved deep into the underworld, where the realm of the dead lay shrouded in eternal darkness. These roots, like serpents, twisted and coiled through the deepest chasms, connecting the living world to the realm of the ancestors. The underworld was not merely a place of punishment, but a realm of eternal cycles, where the souls of the departed found rest and renewal. The roots carried the essence of life and death, ensuring that the balance between existence and non-existence was maintained. This connection was vital, as it allowed the gods to draw upon the wisdom of the dead, and for the dead to influence the living. The branches of Yggdrasil stretched into the heavens, reaching toward the celestial spheres where the gods dwelt. These branches were not merely physical, but spiritual conduits, carrying the divine energy of the cosmos. The sky above was a tapestry of stars, planets, and nebulae, each one a node in the cosmic web that Yggdrasil supported. The branches were adorned with sacred symbols, glowing with a light that was both beautiful and terrifying, as it represented the power of the gods themselves. This connection to the heavens was essential, for it allowed the gods to communicate with their creations and maintain order in the universe. The three roots of Yggdrasil were not merely connections, but powerful conduits that linked the three primary realms of Norse cosmology. The root in the underworld was dark and ominous, drawing the essence of death and decay into the cosmic cycle. The root in the heavens was radiant and pure, carrying the divine energy of the gods. The root in the middle world was neutral, bridging the gap between the divine and mortal realms. These roots were not separate entities, but interconnected parts of a single divine structure, each one playing a crucial role in maintaining the balance of the cosmos. The interplay between these three realms was essential for the continuation of life itself. The middle world, known as Midgard, was the realm of mortals, where humans lived their lives, built their civilizations, and faced the challenges of existence. It was here that Yggdrasil's trunk stood as a pillar of support, its roots anchoring the world to the underworld, and its branches reaching toward the heavens. The middle world was not a static place, but a dynamic realm where the gods would visit, where myths would unfold, and where the fate of the cosmos would be decided. The tree was not just a symbol of existence, but a living entity that influenced the lives of all beings, from the smallest insect to the greatest god. The cosmic tree was not immune to the forces of chaos and destruction. Storms would rage around Yggdrasil, as if the very elements were responding to the tree's presence. The lightning that struck the trunk was not random, but a divine response to the cosmic balance. The tree's roots and branches were constantly being tested by the forces of nature, and yet they remained unbroken. This resilience was a testament to the tree's divine nature, for it was not merely a physical entity, but a symbol of the eternal struggle between order and chaos. Among the branches of Yggdrasil, the raven was a constant presence, its eyes glowing with ancient wisdom. The raven was not merely a bird, but a messenger, a guardian, and a symbol of the tree's connection to the realm of the dead. It was said that the raven would fly from one branch to another, carrying messages between the gods and the mortals, and between the realms of the living and the dead. The raven's presence was a reminder that the tree was not just a symbol of life, but of death and rebirth, of the eternal cycle that governed all existence. The sacred grove where Yggdrasil stood was a place of great power, where the ancient runes were carved into the earth, and the very air hummed with divine energy. The stone circles that surrounded the tree were not mere monuments, but active conduits of cosmic power, each one aligned with the movements of the stars. The mist that swirled around the tree was not just atmospheric, but a living entity, carrying the essence of the cosmos itself. This was a place where the gods would gather, where the fate of the universe would be decided, and where the eternal cycle of life and death would be maintained. The deer that drank from the pool beneath Yggdrasil was not just an animal, but a symbol of the tree's connection to the natural world. The deer's eyes reflected the branches of the tree, as if the very essence of the cosmos was contained within its gaze. The pool's surface rippled with unseen forces, as if the tree's roots were connected to the very waters of life itself. The deer was a guardian of the sacred grove, a being that could bridge the gap between the mortal and divine realms, and a reminder that all life was connected to the cosmic tree. In the middle world, where mortals lived their lives, the forge of the blacksmith was a place of great significance. The metal that was forged there was not just for tools and weapons, but for the very essence of life itself. The blacksmith's hammer struck the metal with the rhythm of the cosmos, and the sparks that flew into the air were like the stars themselves. The forge was a place where the divine and mortal realms intersected, where the power of the gods was channeled into the physical world. Yggdrasil's presence was felt in the forge, as if the tree's energy was flowing through the metal itself. The warrior who stood beneath Yggdrasil was not merely a mortal, but a chosen one, a being who had been touched by the tree's divine energy. The sword in his hand glowed with the same light as the tree's branches, and his eyes reflected the cosmic energy that flowed through the cosmos. The warrior was a bridge between the mortal and divine realms, a being who could carry the power of the gods into the world of mortals. Yggdrasil's presence was felt in every movement of the warrior, as if the tree was guiding his actions and giving him strength to face the challenges of existence. The sea, vast and mysterious, was not separate from Yggdrasil, but connected to it through the roots that delved into the ocean depths. The waves that crashed against the shore were not just the result of the wind, but the movements of the cosmic tree itself. The glowing lights beneath the waves were not just reflections of the stars, but the essence of the tree's power, flowing through the waters of the world. The sea was a realm of both destruction and creation, where the forces of the cosmos were constantly at work, and where the influence of Yggdrasil was felt in every drop of water. Even the smallest creatures were connected to Yggdrasil, and the squirrel that gnawed on the acorn was not just a simple animal, but a guardian of the cosmic cycle. The squirrel's eyes glowed with the same energy as the tree's branches, and its movements were guided by the tree's influence. The acorn that it carried was not just a seed, but a symbol of the eternal cycle of life and death, of growth and decay. The squirrel was a reminder that all life, no matter how small, was part of the grand tapestry of existence that Yggdrasil supported. The dawn brought a new day, a new beginning, and a reminder of Yggdrasil's eternal presence. The sun's rays that touched the tree's branches were not just light, but a divine force that sustained the cosmic order. The golden light that bathed the tree was a symbol of the god's power, and a reminder that the tree was not just a physical entity, but a living symbol of the universe's divine nature. The dawn was a time of renewal, when the cosmic cycle would begin anew, and when the balance between life and death would be maintained. The night brought darkness, and with it, the forces of chaos that threatened to disrupt the cosmic balance. The lightning that struck the tree was not just a natural phenomenon, but a divine response to the threat of destruction. The red light that emanated from the roots was a warning, a sign that the cosmic order was under attack. The tree's presence was felt in the storm, as if it was fighting to maintain the balance between order and chaos, between life and death, between the realms of the gods and mortals. The underworld was a realm of eternal darkness, where the souls of the dead found rest and renewal. The glowing runes that adorned the underworld were not mere symbols, but active conduits of the tree's power, connecting the realm of the dead to the world of the living. The shadowy figures that moved through the darkness were not mere spirits, but guardians of the cosmic cycle, ensuring that the balance between life and death was maintained. The roots of Yggdrasil extended deep into this realm, carrying the essence of life and death, and ensuring that the eternal cycle would continue. The heavens were not just a place of beauty, but a realm of divine power, where the gods dwelt and made decisions that would shape the fate of all existence. The branches of Yggdrasil reached toward the celestial spheres, carrying the divine energy of the cosmos. The stars that shone in the heavens were not just distant lights, but symbols of the tree's connection to the divine. The divine light that flowed between the branches was a reminder that the tree was not just a symbol of existence, but a living entity that influenced the lives of all beings, from the smallest insect to the greatest god. The middle world, where mortals lived their lives, was not separate from the cosmic tree, but connected to it through the roots that extended into the earth and the branches that reached toward the sky. The golden glow that illuminated the tree was not just light, but a symbol of the divine energy that sustained all life. The tree was not just a symbol of existence, but a living entity that influenced the lives of all beings, from the smallest insect to the greatest god. The connection between the middle world and the cosmic tree was essential, for it was through this connection that the balance between life and death, order and chaos, was maintained. The glowing orb that hung from Yggdrasil's branch was not just a symbol of the tree's power, but a living entity that carried the essence of the cosmos. The orb pulsed with energy, a rhythm that matched the heartbeat of the universe itself. The branch that supported it shimmered with cosmic light, a reminder that the tree was not just a symbol of existence, but a living entity that influenced the lives of all beings. The vastness of the cosmos was visible in the background, a reminder that the tree was not just a local symbol, but a cosmic entity that connected all realms and all beings. The dark forest where Yggdrasil's roots were visible was a place of great mystery, where the ancient runes and symbols carved into the earth told the story of the cosmic tree's power. The glowing runes were not just symbols, but active conduits of the tree's energy, connecting the forest to the realm of the dead. The roots that extended beneath the surface were not just physical, but spiritual, carrying the essence of life and death through the earth itself. The forest was a place where the boundary between the mortal and divine realms was thin, where the influence of Yggdrasil was felt in every shadow and every breath. The mountain peak where Yggdrasil's branches reached toward the sky was a place of great power, where the very air was thick with cosmic energy. The peak was surrounded by clouds and mist, a veil that hid the divine nature of the tree. The branches that extended toward the sky were not just physical, but spiritual, carrying the essence of the divine to the mortal realm. The roots that were visible in the distance were not just connections, but active conduits of the tree's power, ensuring that the cosmic balance was maintained. The mountain was a place where the gods would gather, where the fate of the universe would be decided. The sacred grove, where Yggdrasil stood, was not just a place of beauty, but a place of great power, where the ancient runes and stone circles created a sacred web of energy. The grove was surrounded by a misty atmosphere, a veil that hid the divine nature of the tree. The glowing runes that adorned the grove were not just symbols, but active conduits of the tree's energy, connecting the realm of the gods to the realm of mortals. The sacred grove was a place where the cosmic cycle would be maintained, where the balance between life and death would be preserved, and where the eternal tree would continue to support the universe. The cosmic tree stood as the axis mundi of Norse cosmology, with its roots extending into the underworld, its branches reaching into the heavens, and its trunk standing in the middle world. The three realms were not separate, but interconnected, each one supporting the others through the power of the tree. The glowing light that connected them was not just a symbol, but a living entity, a force that maintained the cosmic balance. The tree was not just a symbol of existence, but a living entity that influenced the lives of all beings, from the smallest insect to the greatest god. The cosmic tree was the foundation of all life, death, and rebirth, and its power would continue to sustain the universe for eternity. The cosmic tree of Yggdrasil was not just a symbol of existence, but a living entity that connected all realms of the universe. Its roots delved deep into the underworld, its branches reached toward the heavens, and its trunk stood as the foundation of the middle world. The tree was not just a physical entity, but a spiritual conduit, a living symbol of the eternal cycle of life and death. The divine energy that flowed through the tree was not just power, but a force that maintained the cosmic balance, ensuring that the universe would continue to exist in harmony. The tree was the axis mundi of Norse cosmology, the central pillar that supported all existence, and its influence would be felt for eternity. In the heart of Norse mythology lies a cosmic web of realms, each with its own destiny and perilous significance. Asgard, the celestial home of the Aesir gods, stands high above the mortal world, its golden halls gleaming against the dark void. Yet, these divine heights are not isolated, for they are bound to the world of humans and the realm of giants, all connected through the immense cosmic tree Yggdrasil. The three primary realms, Asgard, Midgard, and Jotunheim, form a triad of existence, each with its own laws, inhabitants, and eternal conflicts. Asgard, the realm of the gods, is a realm of unimaginable splendor and divine power. Its golden halls, built upon floating platforms, rise high above the mortal world, protected by the thunderous might of the gods themselves. The realm is a beacon of light in the darkness, its golden spires reaching toward the heavens, its gates guarded by the most powerful of the Aesir. Yet, even here, in the divine realm, the gods are not free from the shadow of fate and the eternal war with the giants. The realm of Asgard is not only a place of power, but also a place of peril, where even the gods must be vigilant against the encroaching darkness. Midgard, the realm of humans, is a world of life, growth, and the constant struggle for survival. It is a place of beauty, where humans build their homes, tend their fields, and raise their children. Yet, this realm is not immune to the chaos that plagues the divine. The humans of Midgard are constantly threatened by the giants of Jotunheim, and the gods themselves are not always able to protect them. The realm of Midgard is a place of both hope and despair, where the simple life of the common folk is often overshadowed by the looming presence of the supernatural forces that inhabit the world. Jotunheim, the realm of the giants, is a land of ice, fire, and endless conflict. The giants who dwell here are not mere creatures of myth, but powerful beings of immense strength and ancient knowledge. Their realm is a place of stark beauty and brutal danger, where the very ground is cracked with the force of their battles. The giants of Jotunheim are not only enemies of the gods, but also the source of many of the world's greatest dangers. Their realm is a testament to the eternal struggle between order and chaos, where the giants wage war against the gods and the mortal world with a fury that echoes through the ages. At the center of this cosmic web lies Yggdrasil, the World Tree, an ancient and sacred entity that connects all realms of Norse mythology. The tree is vast and powerful, its roots delving deep into the underworld, its branches reaching toward the heavens. It is the axis mundi, the central pillar of existence, holding the three primary realms together in a delicate balance. The tree is not only a symbol of life and growth, but also of the eternal conflict that defines the Norse Cosmos, where the gods, humans, and giants are all bound by its presence. The Bifrost, the Rainbow Bridge, connects Asgard to Midgard, serving as the only safe passage between the divine realm and the world of mortals. Guarded by the god Heimdall, the bridge is not only a means of travel, but a symbol of divine protection and the delicate balance between the realms. The Bifrost is a marvel of divine craftsmanship, its rainbow hues reflecting the power of the gods and the eternal struggle to maintain order in the cosmos. Yet, even this bridge is not immune to the chaos that threatens to tear the realms apart. The giants of Jotunheim are not merely antagonists, but the very embodiment of chaos and destruction in the Norse cosmos. They are ancient beings who predate the gods and possess a power that rivals the divine. Their realm is a place of constant war, where they battle not only the gods but also each other for dominance. The giants are driven by a primal fury and an insatiable hunger for power, and their influence extends far beyond their own realm, threatening the very foundations of the world and the divine order. In the realm of Midgard, life goes on as it always has, with humans building their lives, raising their children, and tending to their crops. Yet, beneath this peaceful surface lies a constant threat from the forces of chaos that lurk beyond the borders of their world. The people of Midgard are not only subject to the whims of the gods, but also to the ever-present danger of the giants. Their lives are a delicate balance between the need for protection and the desire for freedom, a struggle that defines their existence in the cosmic web of Norse mythology. The forests of Midgard are not only places of natural beauty, but also of deep mystery and danger. These ancient woods are filled with the echoes of past battles and the whispers of forgotten gods. The trees themselves are sacred, their roots intertwined with the very essence of the world. The runes carved into the bark are not mere symbols but powerful spells that can alter fate itself. In these forests, the boundary between the mortal world and the divine realm becomes thin, and the line between life and death blurs. The realm of Asgard is not only a place of divine power, but also a realm of endless beauty and mystery. The gods of Asgard are not only powerful, but also deeply connected to the world of mortals. They watch over Midgard from their celestial heights, their eyes never turning away from the struggles of the human race. Yet their power is not absolute, and they are constantly challenged by the forces of chaos that seek to tear down the divine order. The realm of Asgard is a place of eternal vigilance, where the gods must protect their world from the ever-present threat of the giants. The giants of Jotunheim are not only warriors, but also beings of immense wisdom and power. They are the ancient guardians of the world's secrets, and their knowledge is both a blessing and a curse. The giants are not merely creatures of destruction, but also the keepers of the cosmic balance, their very existence serving as a reminder of the eternal struggle between order and chaos. Their realm is a place of constant war, where they battle not only the gods, but also the very fabric of reality itself. The Bifrost is not only a bridge, but a symbol of the divine order that governs the Norse Cosmos. It is a means of communication between the realms, a place where the gods can observe the world below and intervene when necessary. The bridge is guarded by Heimdall, whose eyes can see across the realms, and whose ears can hear the whisper of fate itself. The Bifrost is a place of great significance, where the gods maintain their connection to the world of mortals and ensure that the cosmic balance is preserved. The forests of Midgard are not only places of beauty, but also of deep spiritual significance. They are the domains of the gods where the ancient magic of the world still lingers. The trees are alive with the power of the cosmos, and their roots reach deep into the earth, connecting the realm to the underworld. The mushrooms that glow in the darkness are not mere plants, but sacred beings that hold the key to the world's mysteries. These forests are a place where the boundary between the mortal and divine realms is thin, and where the past and future converge. The ocean of Midgard is not only a place of life and travel, but also a realm of mystery and danger. The sea is filled with the echoes of ancient battles and the whispers of the gods. The waves are not merely water, but the very essence of the world's power, and the ships that sail upon them are not merely vessels, but extensions of the divine will. The ocean is a place where the gods can communicate with the mortals, where the boundaries of the realms become blurred, and where the eternal struggle between order and chaos continues. The sky of Asgard is not only a place of divine beauty, but also a realm of cosmic power. The stars are not mere lights, but the very essence of the divine, and the planets that circle the heavens are the manifestations of the gods' will. The sky is a place where the gods can observe the world below and make their decisions, where the balance of the cosmos is maintained through their power. The sky is a place of eternal vigilance, where the gods watch over the world and ensure that the cosmic order is preserved. The realm of Jotunheim is a place of endless conflict, where the giants wage war against the gods and the mortal world. The giants are not only powerful, but also ancient, their strength surpassing that of the gods in many ways. The land is cracked with the force of their battles, and the very ground trembles beneath their feet. The giants are not merely enemies, but also the guardians of the world's secrets, and their existence is a reminder of the eternal struggle between order and chaos. The forests of the Norse Cosmos are not only places of beauty, but also of deep spiritual significance. They are the domains of the gods, where the ancient magic of the world still lingers. The trees are alive with the power of the cosmos, and their roots reach deep into the earth, connecting the realm to the underworld. The mystical creatures that inhabit these forests are not mere animals, but beings of great power, and their presence serves as a reminder of the divine order that governs the world. The sky of Asgard is not only a place of divine beauty, but also a realm of cosmic power. The stars are not mere lights, but the very essence of the divine, and the planets that circle the heavens are the manifestations of the gods' will. The sky is a place where the gods can observe the world below and make their decisions, where the balance of the cosmos is maintained through their power. The sky is a place of eternal vigilance, where the gods watch over the world and ensure that the cosmic order is preserved. The giants of Jotunheim are not only warriors, but also beings of immense wisdom and power. They are the ancient guardians of the world's secrets, and their knowledge is both a blessing and a curse. The giants are not merely creatures of destruction, but also the keepers of the cosmic balance, their very existence serving as a reminder of the eternal struggle between order and chaos. Their realm is a place of constant war, where they battle not only the gods, but also the very fabric of reality itself. The Bifrost is not only a bridge, but a symbol of the divine order that governs the Norse cosmos. It is a means of communication between the realms, a place where the gods can observe the world below and intervene when necessary. The bridge is guarded by Heimdall, whose eyes can see across the realms, and whose ears can hear the whisper of fate itself. The Bifrost is a place of great significance, where the gods maintain their connection to the world of mortals and ensure that the cosmic balance is preserved. The forests of the Norse Cosmos are not only places of beauty, but also of deep spiritual significance. They are the domains of the gods, where the ancient magic of the world still lingers. The trees are alive with the power of the cosmos, and their roots reach deep into the earth, connecting the realm to the underworld. The mystical creatures that inhabit these forests are not mere animals, but beings of great power, and their presence serves as a reminder of the divine order that governs the world. The ocean of Midgard is not only a place of life and travel, but also a realm of mystery and danger. The sea is filled with the echoes of ancient battles and the whispers of the gods. The waves are not merely water, but the very essence of the world's power, and the ships that sail upon them are not merely vessels, but extensions of the divine will. The ocean is a place where the gods can communicate with the mortals, where the boundaries of the realms become blurred, and where the eternal struggle between order and chaos continues. The sky of Asgard is not only a place of divine beauty, but also a realm of cosmic power. The stars are not mere lights, but the very essence of the divine, and the planets that circle the heavens are the manifestations of the gods' will. The sky is a place where the gods can observe the world below and make their decisions, where the balance of the cosmos is maintained through their power. The sky is a place of eternal vigilance, where the gods watch over the world and ensure that the cosmic order is preserved. The realm of Jotunheim is a place of endless conflict, where the giants wage war against the gods and the mortal world. The giants are not only powerful, but also ancient, their strength surpassing that of the gods in many ways. The land is cracked with the force of their battles, and the very ground trembles beneath their feet. The giants are not merely enemies, but also the guardians of the world's secrets, and their existence is a reminder of the eternal struggle between order and chaos. In the ancient tapestry of Norse mythology, the Aesir gods form the divine hierarchy that governs the cosmic order of the 9 realms. At the apex of this celestial structure stands Odin, the Allfather, whose wisdom and power are unmatched among the gods. His presence looms over the realms like a storm cloud, casting shadows across the lands below, and his dominion extends far beyond the mortal world into the very fabric of existence itself. The 9 realms, each with their own distinct character, are bound together by the threads of divine authority that Odin weaves through his eternal reign. Odin's role as the Allfather is not merely one of divine authority, but of cosmic responsibility. His throne within the sacred hall of Valhall serves as the meeting place for the slain warriors who have earned their place among the Einherjar. These valiant souls, chosen by the Valkyries, await the final battle of Ragnarok, their valor recognized by the All-Father himself. Odin's presence among them is both a reward and a reminder of the eternal struggle between life and death, where the gods and their chosen warriors prepare for the ultimate reckoning that will reshape the very foundations of existence. The Allfather's dominion extends into the realm of warfare itself, where he commands the forces of battle with unmatched cunning and divine foresight. His strategic mind, honed through countless ages, guides the outcome of battles across the 9 realms. Odin's presence on the battlefield is not one of direct combat, but of leadership that inspires the gods and mortals alike. He is the god who knows the future, who sees the threads of fate weaving through the chaos of war, and whose decisions determine the rise and fall of kingdoms, empires, and the very fabric of the cosmos. At the heart of Odin's divine family lies Thor, the god of thunder, whose strength is legendary throughout the 9 realms. The hammer Mjolnir, forged in the depths of the earth and blessed by the gods, is the instrument through which Thor wields his power. His role as the protector of both gods and mortals is paramount, for he stands as the bulwark against the forces of chaos that threaten to tear apart the cosmic order. The thunderous roar of his hammer echoes across the realms, a sound that speaks of divine justice and the eternal struggle between order and destruction. Thor's connection to the divine family is not merely one of lineage, but of shared purpose and destiny. His relationship with Odin, as father and son, reflects the eternal bond between the All-Father and his chosen champion. The Thunder God's might is not only a force of destruction, but also of protection, as he defends the realms from the encroaching darkness of the Jotnar and the forces of chaos. His presence is a beacon of hope in the darkest of times, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the gods stand united in their determination to preserve the cosmic order. The relationship between Odin and Thor exemplifies the complex hierarchy of the Aesir gods, where each member plays a crucial role in maintaining the cosmic balance. Odin, as the All-Father, holds the ultimate authority, yet he relies on the strength and loyalty of his divine family to uphold the order of the realms. Thor, despite his immense power, acknowledges Odin's wisdom and guidance, recognizing that true strength lies not in individual prowess, but in the unity of the divine family. Their bond is one of mutual respect and shared responsibility, forged through countless battles and the weight of eternal destiny. The cosmic order that Odin and Thor protect is constantly under threat from the forces of chaos that seek to tear apart the fabric of existence. The Jotnar, or giants, represent the primordial forces of destruction that have always lurked at the edges of the Nine Realms. Their ancient power, derived from the very essence of the world itself, poses a constant danger to the divine hierarchy. These beings, often depicted as monstrous and malevolent, embody the fear of chaos that the gods must continually confront and overcome, ensuring that the cosmic balance remains intact. Odin's wisdom is not merely innate, but is enhanced by his constant communion with the forces of knowledge and prophecy. His ravens, Hugin and Munin, serve as his eyes and ears throughout the Nine Realms, bringing him news of the world's happenings. Through their eyes, Odin sees the threads of fate that connect all beings, understanding the complex interplay between the gods and mortals. This omniscience allows him to make decisions that affect not only the divine hierarchy, but the very essence of existence itself, guiding the realms through the trials of time and destiny. The forging of Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, is a testament to the divine craftsmanship that binds the gods to their purpose. The hammer, forged in the depths of the earth by the dwarven smiths, is not merely a weapon, but a symbol of the divine power that Thor wields. The process of its creation reflects the intricate relationship between the gods and their tools, where each artifact is imbued with divine energy and purpose. The hammer's power is not only felt in the destruction it brings, but in the protection it offers, making it an essential part of the cosmic order that Odin and Thor work to preserve. The battlefield of the gods is not one of casual conflict, but of eternal struggle for the preservation of existence itself. Odin's presence among the fallen warriors is a reminder that even the All-Father is not immune to the consequences of war. The Einherjar, those chosen by the Valkyries, represent the eternal cycle of death and rebirth that governs the realms. Their sacrifice is not in vain, for it serves the greater purpose of maintaining the cosmic balance, ensuring that the forces of order remain triumphant against the encroaching darkness that threatens to consume all. Thor's dominion extends not only to the realm of war, but to the very elements themselves. His connection to the thunderous skies and the raging seas is a reflection of his divine role as the protector of the cosmic order. The ocean, vast and mysterious, is one of the domains where his power is most evident, as he commands the waves and the storms that rage across its surface. His presence is felt in every thunderclap and lightning strike, a reminder that even the most powerful of the gods must remain vigilant against the forces of chaos that seek to disrupt the harmony of the realms. The halls of Valhalla serve as more than just a resting place for the slain warriors. They are a testament to the eternal nature of the divine hierarchy. The feasting and drinking that takes place within these sacred halls represent the bonds that unite the gods and their chosen warriors in a shared destiny. Odin's presence is felt throughout these halls as he watches over his chosen, ensuring that they are prepared for the final battle of Ragnarok. The atmosphere of Valhalla is one of reverence and anticipation, where the warriors await the moment when their fate will be fulfilled. The cosmic tree Yggdrasil stands as the central pillar of the 9 realms, connecting all worlds in a web of divine energy. Odin's relationship with this sacred tree is one of profound significance, for it is through Yggdrasil that the gods maintain their connection to the fundamental forces of existence. The tree's roots delve deep into the earth, while its branches stretch toward the heavens, symbolizing the unity of the divine hierarchy. Odin's wisdom is said to be derived from his understanding of the tree's secrets, and his role as the All-Father is intimately tied to the preservation of this cosmic structure. The clash between Thor and the Jotnar represents the eternal battle between order and chaos that defines the cosmic struggle. Each confrontation is a test of strength and resolve, where the fate of the realms hangs in the balance. Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, is not merely a weapon, but a symbol of divine justice and the power to restore balance. The destruction that follows each battle serves as a reminder of the consequences of chaos and the necessity of maintaining the divine order that Odin and his family have sworn to protect. In the quiet moments of contemplation, Odin's mind is consumed by the weight of his responsibilities as the All-Father. His solitude is not one of isolation, but of profound understanding, as he contemplates the fate of the 9 realms and the cosmic balance that he must maintain. The ancient scrolls and glowing runes that surround him are repositories of knowledge that guide his decisions, ensuring that the divine hierarchy remains intact. His wisdom, honed through countless ages, is the foundation upon which the cosmos itself rests. The thunder god's role in the divine hierarchy is not one of mere strength, but of purpose and duty. His battles against the Jotnar are not acts of aggression, but necessary measures to protect the cosmic order. The fallen giants around him serve as a testament to the power that Thor wields, and the sacrifices made to preserve the realms. His presence is a beacon of hope in the face of darkness, a reminder that even in the most dire circumstances, the gods stand united in their determination to uphold the divine order. The journey of the gods through the dark forests of the 9 realms is one of constant vigilance and preparation. Odin and Thor, as the most powerful members of the divine hierarchy, must remain ever aware of the threats that lurk in the shadows. The glowing runes that mark their path are not mere decoration, but signs of the ancient magic that protects the realms. Their walk through the forest is a symbol of their eternal duty, a reminder that even in the most perilous of times, the gods must continue to stand as guardians of the cosmic order. The throne room of Asgard is the heart of the divine hierarchy, where Odin's authority is most evident. The golden pillars and dark banners that surround the throne are symbols of the power and majesty that the All-Father commands. The throne itself is not merely a seat of power, but a representation of the cosmic balance that Odin must maintain. The dark banners that flutter in the wind are reminders of the eternal struggle between order and chaos, and the responsibility that Odin bears as the guardian of the realms. Thor's chariot, drawn by the mighty goats Tangrisnir and Tangjoster, is a symbol of his connection to the forces of nature and the divine order. The thunderous roar of his chariot, as it races across the sky, is a sound that echoes through the 9 realms, a reminder of the power that he wields. The goats themselves are not mere beasts, but divine entities that serve as extensions of Thor's will. Their presence in the chariot underscores the unity of the gods with the elements, and the eternal struggle to maintain the cosmic balance. The sight of Odin standing on the cliff, overlooking the battlefield, is a moment of profound significance in the divine hierarchy. His presence is not one of passive observation, but of active leadership and divine intervention. The warriors who charge towards him are not merely soldiers, but chosen ones who represent the eternal struggle for the cosmic order. Odin's gaze is one of wisdom and foresight, seeing the threads of fate that weave through the chaos of war, and understanding the necessary sacrifices that must be made to preserve the realms. The inscription of Ragnarok on the Great Stone serves as a reminder of the eternal cycle that governs the divine hierarchy. The gods, including Odin and Thor, must prepare for the final battle that will reshape the cosmos. The stone itself is a symbol of the immutable nature of fate and the divine order that even the gods must accept. The presence of Odin and Thor in front of the stone represents their readiness to face the ultimate challenge, understanding that their strength and unity are essential to the survival of the realms. The gate that separates the realms is not merely an entrance, but a symbol of the eternal boundaries that define the divine hierarchy. Odin and Thor stand as guardians of this threshold, ensuring that the cosmic order remains intact. The setting sun behind them is a reminder of the passage of time and the eternal struggle that the gods must endure. Their presence at the gate is one of protection and vigilance, as they prepare to face whatever challenges may arise in the journey ahead. The stormy sky that surrounds Odin and Thor is a reflection of the cosmic forces that they command and protect. The lightning that crackles through the air is not merely a display of power, but a sign of the divine energy that flows through the 9 realms. Their presence in the storm is one of unity, as they stand together as guardians of the divine order. The thunder that echoes across the sky is a reminder of the eternal struggle that defines their purpose and the sacrifices they must make to preserve the cosmos. The warriors of Valhall are not merely the chosen ones of Odin's realm, but the eternal guardians of the divine hierarchy. Their readiness for battle reflects the constant vigilance that is required to maintain the cosmic balance. The dark and ominous sky that looms over them is a reminder of the threats that exist beyond the halls of the gods. Odin's presence among them is one of guidance and strength, ensuring that they are prepared for the ultimate confrontation that will define the fate of the 9 realms. The thunder god's stance on the cliff is one of readiness and determination, a symbol of his unwavering commitment to the divine hierarchy. His hammer, Mjolnir, is not merely a weapon, but a representation of the power that he wields to protect the realms. The dark and stormy sky that surrounds him is a reflection of the cosmic forces that he must face. His presence is a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the gods stand united in their determination to preserve the cosmic order. In the primordial chaos of Norse mythology, the world was born from the void, and from that void emerged the Jotun, the ancient giants who embody the raw, untamed forces of nature. These beings are not merely creatures of myth, but the very essence of chaos and disorder that stands in stark contrast to the ordered realm of the gods. From the frost giants of Jotunheim to the fire giants of Muspelheim, these beings are fundamental to the cosmic balance that governs the fate of all realms. The Jotun are the primordial forces that shape the world, and their relationship with the gods is one of eternal conflict, mutual dependence, and ultimate destruction. The frost giants, known as Jotnar, are the most common and recognizable of the Norse giants. They dwell in the realm of Jotunheim, a land of perpetual winter and endless cold, where the very air seems to freeze with the presence of their power. Their bodies are immense, their skin pale and cracked, and their eyes burn with an ancient malevolent intelligence. These giants are not merely hostile. They are the living embodiment of the destructive forces that the gods must constantly suppress. Their presence threatens the order of Asgard, and their actions often set the stage for the great prophecies of Ragnarok, the end of the world. In stark contrast to the frost giants, the fire giants, or Jotnar of Muspelheim, dwell in the realm of eternal flame and destruction. Their bodies are consumed by fire, and their presence is marked by the heat and devastation they bring. These beings are not merely destructive. They are the very essence of the primordial fire that existed before the world was formed. Surtur, the most prominent of these fire giants, is destined to lead the forces of destruction during the final battle of Ragnarok, his sword blazing with eternal flame as he brings about the end of all things. The gods of Asgard, led by Odin and the Aesir, have long maintained their dominance over the cosmos by keeping the Jotun at bay. Yet, the giants are not merely enemies to be defeated. They are the very forces that the gods must constantly battle against to preserve order. The relationship between gods and giants is complex, filled with both conflict and alliance. The gods, in their efforts to control the chaos of the Jotun, have often been forced to make alliances with them, though these are always temporary and fraught with tension. The giants are the wild, untamed forces that challenge the gods' control, and their very existence threatens the stability of the cosmic order. At the beginning of time, before the gods existed, there was Ymir, the first of the Jotnar, a primordial giant who was born from the void. Ymir's body was immense, and from his flesh, the first world was formed. His blood became the oceans, his flesh became the earth, and his bones became the mountains. The gods, led by Odin, were born from the first of the Aesir, and they were tasked with the eternal battle against the forces of chaos that Ymir and his descendants represented. Ymir's death was not just the end of one being, but the beginning of a cosmic struggle that would define the fate of all realms. The realm of Jotun is a land of endless winter, where the giants live in isolation from the gods. The forests are twisted and dark, filled with ancient magic and the remnants of forgotten battles. The frost giants of this realm are not merely creatures of destruction. They are the guardians of the old ways, the keepers of the primal forces that the gods must constantly suppress. Their homes are built from ice and stone, and their cities are carved into the mountainsides, hidden from the eyes of the gods. The very presence of these giants threatens the order of the world, and their actions often set the stage for the great prophecies of Ragnarok. The fire giants are not merely beings of destruction. They are the very essence of the primordial forces that shape the world. Their realm, Muspelheim, is a land of eternal flame and chaos, where the very air is thick with heat and smoke. These giants are not only powerful, but they are the very forces that the gods must constantly battle against to preserve order. Their presence is marked by destruction, but also by the promise of renewal. In the end, their role in Ragnarok is not just to destroy, but to bring about the necessary chaos that leads to a new beginning. The gods of Asgard, led by Odin, are constantly at war with the forces of chaos that the Jotun represent. The realm of Asgard is protected by the Bifrost, a rainbow bridge that connects the mortal world to the divine realm. Yet the giants are not deterred by the gods' defenses. They break through the barriers, seeking to bring about the destruction of the world. The gods, in turn, must constantly fight to maintain their dominance, but their victories are always temporary, as the Jotun continue to rise from the chaos. The eternal conflict between gods and giants is the very foundation of the Norse Cosmos. The Jotun are not merely physical beings. They are the very forces of nature itself. Their eyes, glowing with ancient power, watch over the world with a cold, calculating intelligence. These eyes are not just windows into their minds, but symbols of their power over the cosmos. The gods, in their attempts to control the chaos of the Jotun, must constantly be aware of their presence, for the giants are always watching, always planning, and always ready to strike. The very sight of a Jotun's eye is enough to strike fear into the hearts of even the bravest of gods. The frost giants are not only powerful, but they are also deeply connected to the ancient magic of the world. Their chants and rituals are said to bring about the very forces of chaos that the gods must constantly suppress. The giants' power is not just physical, it is spiritual, and their presence is marked by the disruption of the natural order. The frost giants are the keepers of the old ways, and their power is felt throughout the realm of Jotunheim. Their very existence threatens the stability of the world, and their actions often set the stage for the great prophecies of Ragnarok. The fire giants of Muspelheim are the very essence of destruction and renewal. Their power is not just physical, but it is also spiritual, and their presence is marked by the chaos they bring. These giants are not merely creatures of destruction. They are the very forces that shape the world. Their power is so great that even the gods must fear their wrath. The fire giants are the keepers of the primordial fire, and their actions are always marked by the promise of change. In the end, their role in Ragnarok is not just to destroy, but to bring about the necessary chaos that leads to a new beginning. The frost giants are not only powerful, but they are also deeply connected to the ancient magic of the world. Their presence is marked by the disruption of the natural order, and their power is felt throughout the realm of Jotunheim. The giants are not merely creatures of destruction, they are the very forces that shape the world. Their power is so great that even the gods must fear their wrath. The frost giants are the keepers of the old ways, and their actions are always marked by the promise of change. In the end, Their role in Ragnarok is not to destroy, but to bring about the necessary chaos that leads to a new beginning. The Jotun are not merely physical beings. They are the very forces of nature itself. Their eyes, glowing with ancient power, watch over the world with a cold, calculating intelligence. These eyes are not just windows into their minds, but symbols of their power over the cosmos. The gods, in their attempts to control the chaos of the Jotun, must constantly be aware of their presence, for the giants are always watching, always planning, and always ready to strike. The very sight of a Jotun's eye is enough to strike fear into the hearts of even the bravest of gods. The frost giants are not only powerful, but they are also deeply connected to the ancient magic of the world. Their chants and rituals are said to bring about the very forces of chaos that the gods must constantly suppress. The giants' power is not just physical, it is spiritual, and their presence is marked by the disruption of the natural order. The frost giants are the keepers of the old ways, and their power is felt throughout the realm of Jotunheim. Their very existence threatens the stability of the world, and their actions often set the stage for the great prophecies of Ragnarok. The fire giants are not merely creatures of destruction, they are the very essence of the primordial forces that shape the world. Their realm, Muspelheim, is a land of eternal flame and chaos, where the very air is thick with heat and smoke. These giants are not only powerful, but they are the very forces that the gods must constantly battle against to preserve order. Their presence is marked by destruction, but also by the promise of renewal. In the end, their role in Ragnarok is not just to destroy, but to bring about the necessary chaos that leads to a new beginning. The gods of Asgard, led by Odin, are constantly at war with the forces of chaos that the Jotun represent. The realm of Asgard is protected by the Bifrost, a rainbow bridge that connects the mortal world to the divine realm. Yet, the giants are not deterred by the gods' defenses. They break through the barriers, seeking to bring about the destruction of the world. The gods, in turn, must constantly fight to maintain their dominance, but their victories are always temporary, as the Jotun continue to rise from the chaos. The eternal conflict between gods and giants is the very foundation of the Norse Cosmos. The Jotun are not merely physical beings, they are the very forces of nature itself. Their eyes, glowing with ancient power, watch over the world with a cold, calculating intelligence. These eyes are not just windows into their minds, but symbols of their power over the cosmos. The gods, in their attempts to control the chaos of the Jotun, must constantly be aware of their presence, for the giants are always watching, always planning, and always ready to strike. The very sight of a Jotun's eye is enough to strike fear into the hearts of even the bravest of gods. The frost giants are not only powerful, but they are also deeply connected to the ancient magic of the world. Their chants and rituals are said to bring about the very forces of chaos that the gods must constantly suppress. The giants' power is not just physical, it is spiritual, and their presence is marked by the disruption of the natural order. The frost giants are the keepers of the old ways, and their power is felt throughout the realm of Jotunheim. Their very existence threatens the stability of the world, and their actions often set the stage for the great prophecies of Ragnarok. The fire giants are not merely creatures of destruction, they are the very essence of the primordial forces that shape the world. Their realm, Muspelheim, is a land of eternal flame and chaos, where the very air is thick with heat and smoke. These giants are not only powerful, but they are the very forces that the gods must constantly battle against to preserve order. Their presence is marked by destruction, but also by the promise of renewal. In the end, their role in Ragnarok is not just to destroy, but to bring about the necessary chaos that leads to a new beginning. The frost giants are not only powerful, but they are also deeply connected to the ancient magic of the world. Their presence is marked by the disruption of the natural order, and their power is felt throughout the realm of Jotunheim. The giants are not merely creatures of destruction, they are the very forces that shape the world. Their power is so great that even the gods must fear their wrath. The frost giants are the keepers of the old ways, and their actions are always marked by the promise of change. In the end, their role in Ragnarok is not to destroy, but to bring about the necessary chaos that leads to a new beginning. The Jotun are not merely physical beings, they are the very forces of nature itself. Their eyes, glowing with ancient power, watch over the world with a cold, calculating intelligence. These eyes are not just windows into their minds, but symbols of their power over the cosmos. The gods, in their attempts to control the chaos of the Jotun, must constantly be aware of their presence, for the giants are always watching, always planning, and always ready to strike. The very sight of a Jotun's eye is enough to strike fear into the hearts of even the bravest of gods. The frost giants are not only powerful, but they are also deeply connected to the ancient magic of the world. Their chants and rituals are said to bring about the very forces of chaos that the gods must constantly suppress. The giants' power is not just physical, it is spiritual, and their presence is marked by the disruption of the natural order. The frost giants are the keepers of the old ways, and their power is felt throughout the realm of Jotunheim. Their very existence threatens the stability of the world, and their actions often set the stage for the great prophecies of Ragnarok. The fire giants are not merely creatures of destruction, they are the very essence of the primordial forces that shape the world. Their realm, Muspelheim, is a land of eternal flame and chaos, where the very air is thick with heat and smoke. These giants are not only powerful, but they are the very forces that the gods must constantly battle against to preserve order. Their presence is marked by destruction, but also by the promise of renewal. In the end, their role in Ragnarok is not just to destroy, but to bring about the necessary chaos that leads to a new beginning. The gods of Asgard, led by Odin, are constantly at war with the forces of chaos that the Jotun represent. The realm of Asgard is protected by the Bifrost, a rainbow bridge that connects the mortal world to the divine realm. Yet, the giants are not deterred by the gods' defenses. They break through the barriers, seeking to bring about the destruction of the world. The gods, in turn, must constantly fight to maintain their dominance, but their victories are always temporary as the Jotun continue to rise from the chaos. The eternal conflict between gods and giants is the very foundation of the Norse Cosmos. The Jotun are not merely physical beings, they are the very forces of nature itself. Their eyes, glowing with ancient power, watch over the world with a cold, calculating intelligence. These eyes are not just windows into their minds, but symbols of their power over the cosmos. The gods, in their attempts to control the chaos of the Jotun, must constantly be aware of their presence, for the giants are always watching, always planning, and always ready to strike. The very sight of a Jotun's eye is enough to strike fear into the hearts of even the bravest of gods. In the depths of ancient myth, where the veil between worlds is thin, the Norse pantheon stands as a cosmic order, a celestial hierarchy that governs the universe. These gods and goddesses are not mere figures of folklore, but the very forces that shape existence itself. Their domains are vast, their influence profound, and their roles in maintaining cosmic balance are essential to the structure of the universe. As the storm rages, we journey into the heart of Norse cosmology, where the 12 major deities orchestrate the eternal dance of fate, war, and the divine order. At the heart of Norse mythology lies Asgard, the celestial realm where the Aesir gods dwell. This sacred fortress is not merely a place of residence, but the center of cosmic authority. The Aesir, the primary pantheon, are the divine architects of the universe's structure. Their presence in Asgard ensures that the laws of the cosmos remain intact, and their decisions ripple through the realms of Jotunheim, Midgard, and the other divine domains. The fortress itself is a symbol of their power, a place where fate is woven and the balance of the universe is maintained through divine will. Odin, the Allfather, is the central figure of the Norse pantheon, the god of wisdom, war, death, and poetry. His reign over Asgard is not only symbolic, but foundational to the cosmic order. His wisdom is boundless, his understanding of fate profound, and his sacrifices are legendary. Odin's ravens, Hugin and Munin, scout the realms, gathering knowledge to maintain balance. His wolf Fenrir and his spear Gungnir are extensions of his divine will, ensuring that the cosmic order is upheld through his eternal vigilance and the wisdom he has acquired through sacrifice and suffering. Thor, the god of thunder and the protector of humanity, embodies the raw force of the cosmos. His hammer, Mjolnir, is not just a weapon, but a symbol of divine justice. The thunder he wields is the sound of cosmic order, the sound of fate being enforced. In the realm of Midgard, Thor stands as the guardian against the forces of chaos, the defender of the mortal world from the giants and the dark creatures of the void. His presence ensures that the boundaries between realms are maintained, and that the balance of power is never tipped too far toward the destructive forces of the universe. Frigg, the goddess of marriage, fertility, and prophecy, holds a unique place in the Norse pantheon. Her foresight is one of the most powerful divine gifts, allowing her to glimpse the threads of fate that bind the universe. She governs the sacred bonds of marriage and family, ensuring that the social fabric of the cosmos remains intact. Her knowledge of the future allows her to guide the Aesir in their decisions, helping them navigate the complex web of destiny. Through her prophetic visions, she maintains the cosmic order by ensuring that the divine plans are not disrupted by the chaos of the unknown. Tyr, the god of justice, law, and heroic glory, embodies the principles of honor and duty within the Norse pantheon. His role is not only to enforce justice, but to uphold the moral order of the universe. His sacrifice, when he lost his hand to the wolf Fenrir, demonstrates the ultimate commitment to divine justice. Tyr's presence in battle ensures that the cosmic order is maintained through the enforcement of right and wrong, ensuring that the balance of fate is not disturbed by the whims of power or the chaos of unchecked violence. Loki, the trickster, is the most complex and dangerous of the Norse gods. His unpredictable nature and cunning intellect make him a vital, yet chaotic, force in the cosmic order. While he often causes disruption, his actions are not without purpose. Loki's role is to challenge the gods, to test their strength and wisdom, and to ensure that the balance of power is never too static. His influence is both destructive and constructive, as he is the catalyst for many of the most significant events in Norse mythology, often forcing the gods to evolve and adapt to maintain cosmic stability. Bragi, the god of poetry, music, and eloquence, ensures that the cosmos is not only governed by power and fate, but also by beauty and art. His influence extends beyond the mortal realm, shaping the very essence of divine expression. The songs he creates are not mere entertainment, but sacred texts that preserve the memory of the gods and the cosmic order. Through his art, Bragi maintains the connection between the divine and the mortal, ensuring that the stories of the gods are preserved and passed down, keeping the cosmic order alive through the power of narrative and memory. Vidar, the silent god, is a figure of quiet strength and vengeance. His role in the cosmic order is one of retribution and justice, though he speaks rarely. His strength is legendary, and his purpose is clear: to avenge the death of his father Odin. Vidar's silence is not weakness, but a form of divine focus, a readiness to act when the cosmic balance is threatened. His presence is a reminder that the universe is not only shaped by power and wisdom, but also by the quiet, determined force of justice that must be maintained through the darkest times. The Valkyries, the chosen maidens of Odin, are the divine agents of fate and war. They ride through the skies, selecting the bravest warriors to be brought to Valhalla, ensuring that the cosmic order is maintained through the cycle of death and rebirth. Their presence is a reminder that death is not an end, but a passage, a necessary part of the divine plan. The Valkyries ensure that the balance between life and death is preserved, that the god's will is carried out through the bravery and sacrifice of the mortal warriors, and that the cosmic order is upheld through the eternal cycle of war and vow. Freyr, the god of fertility, prosperity, and peace, governs the natural order of the universe. His presence brings abundance and harmony to the realms, ensuring that the earth is fertile and the seasons are balanced. His role is essential in maintaining the cosmic order, as the natural world is a reflection of divine will. The fertility he brings is not just physical, but spiritual, ensuring that the universe is not only governed by power and war, but also by growth, peace, and the nurturing forces that sustain life. Freya, the goddess of love, beauty, and war, is a powerful figure in the Norse pantheon, embodying both the gentle and fierce aspects of the divine. Her domain extends to both the realm of love and the battlefield, making her a complex and vital force in the cosmic order. She is the patron of the Valkyries, and her presence ensures that the balance between life and death, love and war, is maintained. Her influence is felt in the beauty of the world, the strength of warriors, and the power of the divine feminine, making her an essential part of the cosmic structure. Heimdall, the guardian of the Bifrost, the rainbow bridge connecting the realms, is the sentinel of the cosmic order. His divine sight allows him to see across all the realms, ensuring that no threat can enter the sacred domains of the gods. His horn, Gjallarhorn, is a powerful instrument that warns of danger and calls the gods to action. His role is crucial in maintaining the boundaries between the realms, ensuring that the cosmic order is not disrupted by the chaos of the void. His vigilance is the first line of defense in the universe's divine structure. Njord, the god of the sea, wind, and the ocean, governs the vast waters that surround the realms. His presence brings both calm and storm, ensuring that the balance of the natural elements is maintained. His role in the cosmic order is essential, as the sea is a symbol of the unknown and the divine. His influence extends to the flow of life and death, as the ocean is both a source of nourishment and a force of destruction. Through his control of the sea, Njord ensures that the universe remains in harmony with the vast, mysterious forces that lie beyond the mortal realm. Skadi, the goddess of winter, mountains, and hunting, represents the harsh and unforgiving forces of the universe. Her domain is one of isolation and strength, where the mountains stand as symbols of endurance and the cold as a reminder of the universe's power. Her role in the cosmic order is to maintain the balance between the harsh and the gentle, the cold and the warm. Her presence ensures that the universe is not only governed by the forces of life and growth, but also by the power of survival and the strength required to endure the most extreme conditions. Ullr, the god of winter, archery, and hunting, is a figure of precision and endurance. His mastery of the bow and his ability to survive in the harshest conditions make him a vital part of the cosmic order. His presence ensures that the universe maintains a balance between the forces of destruction and the power of survival. Ullr's role is not only to protect the realms from the cold, but also to ensure that the divine order is maintained through the strength and skill of the warrior. A reminder that even in the darkest times, the power of the individual can uphold the cosmic structure. The Norns, the three ancient goddesses of fate, are the weavers of the cosmic order. They sit by the well of Erd, where they weave the threads of fate that bind the universe together. Their presence ensures that the cosmic order is not random but predetermined, yet flexible enough to allow for change and growth. The threads they weave are not only the fate of individuals, but the fate of the entire universe. Their wisdom and power ensure that the divine plan is maintained, and that the balance of the cosmos is preserved through the eternal cycle of destiny and choice. Yggdrasil, the world tree, is the central axis of the Norse Cosmos, connecting all the realms in a divine structure. Its roots reach into the underworld, its trunk supports the heavens, and its branches extend to the sky. The tree is not just a symbol, but a living force that sustains the cosmic order. The spirits that dwell in its branches, the animals that inhabit its roots, and the gods who gather at its base all play a role in maintaining the universe's balance. Yggdrasil is the physical representation of the divine order, a structure that ensures that all realms are connected, and that the cosmic balance is maintained through the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The Norse cosmos is divided into several realms, each with its own purpose and divine authority. Jotunheim, the realm of the giants, is a place of chaos and raw power, yet it is essential to the cosmic balance. Midgard, the realm of humans, is where the mortal world exists, and it is protected by the gods to ensure that the cosmic order is maintained. Asgard, the realm of the Aesir, is the center of divine authority and the source of cosmic will. The boundaries between these realms are not rigid but fluid, allowing for interaction and balance, ensuring that the universe remains a dynamic, living structure governed by divine will. The cosmic order is not without conflict, and the Norse pantheon is constantly engaged in battles that determine the fate of the universe. These battles whether between gods and giants or within the divine realms, are not merely physical, but symbolic of the eternal struggle between order and chaos. The gods must fight to maintain the cosmic balance, to ensure that the universe remains a structured, living entity. The trembling of Yggdrasil, the darkening of the sky, and the clash of powers all remind us that the cosmic order is not static, but a dynamic force that must be constantly defended and maintained by the divine will. In the mortal realm of Midgard, the cosmic order is maintained through the bravery and sacrifice of warriors, the protection of the gods, and the balance of fate. The mortal world is a place of constant struggle, where the forces of order and chaos clash. The gods watch over Midgard, ensuring that the balance is not tipped too far toward the destructive forces of the universe. The warriors fight not only for their own survival, but for the cosmic order itself, their courage and strength ensuring that the divine plan is upheld through the mortal realm. Despite the chaos and conflict that define the Norse cosmos, there is also a serene and peaceful aspect to the divine order. In Asgard, the gods gather in harmony, their presence bringing balance to the universe. The calm of the celestial realm is a reminder that the cosmic order is not only about conflict and destruction, but also about harmony and peace. The gods' wisdom and power ensure that the universe remains a living, breathing entity, where both the fierce and the gentle forces of the divine are balanced, and where the cosmic order is maintained through the eternal dance of fate and will. In the end, the Norse pantheon stands as the eternal structure of the universe, a cosmic order that governs the realms of existence through divine will, fate, and the eternal balance of power. The gods and goddesses, each with their own domain and responsibility, work together to maintain the cosmic structure, ensuring that the universe remains a living, breathing entity. The world tree Yggdrasil stands as the central axis, connecting all realms and ensuring that the balance is maintained. The Norse cosmos is not just a myth, but a living divine order that governs the universe through the eternal dance of fate, war, and the divine will of the gods. As we conclude our journey through the Norse cosmos, we are reminded that the divine order is not only a structure of power and fate, but a living, breathing entity that encompasses all existence. The gods and goddesses, the realms, and the world tree all form a cosmic tapestry that binds the universe together. Their roles are not just to govern, but to protect, to nurture, and to ensure that the cosmic balance is maintained. In the vastness of the cosmos, the Norse pantheon stands as a testament to the eternal struggle between chaos and order, and the divine will that ensures that the universe remains a structured, living entity governed by the power and wisdom of the gods. In the beginning, long before the world was formed, the Norse gods and their realm of Asgard stood as the pinnacle of cosmic order. Yet, beneath the surface of this divine tranquility, a prophecy was whispered, one that would ultimately lead to the end of all things. The great battle known as Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, was foretold to be a time of ultimate destruction and rebirth, where the very foundations of the cosmos would crumble. The prophecy of Ragnarok was not merely a warning, but a cosmic imperative. The gods, despite their immense power, were fated to face their ultimate destruction. The runes, carved into ancient stones and carved into the very fabric of the universe, foretold the coming of a time when the sky would split, the earth would tremble, and the gods themselves would fall in a final catastrophic battle. The fate of the cosmos was sealed in the prophecy, and no god could escape it. Asgard, the celestial realm where the gods dwelt in eternal splendor, was a beacon of light and order in the primordial chaos. Yet, as the prophecy unfolded, the gods began to sense the ominous approach of their doom. The once peaceful heavens began to darken, and the very air grew thick with foreboding. The gods, despite their divine might, were powerless to prevent the coming of Ragnarok, a fate they could not escape, a destiny they could not alter. The first signs of Ragnarok began to manifest as the world itself started to tremble. The seas rose with unnatural fury, the waves crashing against the cliffs with a force that shook the very foundations of the earth. The gods, who had once controlled the elements, now found themselves at the mercy of forces beyond their understanding. The ocean, once a symbol of calm, became a harbinger of destruction, and the first of many signs that the end was near. Among the forces that would bring about the end of the world, the monstrous wolf Fenrir loomed as one of the most fearsome. Born from the union of Loki and the giantess Angrboda, Fenrir was destined to play a pivotal role in Ragnarok. His strength was immense, and his hunger for destruction was insatiable. As the prophecy unfolded, the gods realized that Fenrir's power could not be contained, and his arrival marked the beginning of the end for the divine order. The great serpent Jormungand, also known as the Midgard serpent, was another force that would play a critical role in the end of the world. This colossal creature encircled the entire earth, its body so vast that it could not be seen from end to end. Its presence was a constant reminder of the chaos that would soon engulf the cosmos. The gods, in their wisdom, tried to contain the serpent, but its power was beyond their reach, and it was destined to play a crucial part in the final battle. The forests, once verdant and full of life, began to wither and die as the forces of Ragnarok took hold. The trees, which had stood for millennia, were now twisted by dark magic and torn apart by the winds of destruction. The very air was thick with the scent of decay and death. The natural world, which had once been a symbol of harmony and balance, was now a testament to the chaos that was about to unfold. Odin, the Allfather, the god of wisdom, war, and death, was the first to sense the approaching end. His eyes, filled with the weight of countless battles and the knowledge of the prophecy, reflected the sorrow of knowing that his time was drawing to a close. Despite his immense power, Odin could not escape the fate that awaited him. The burden of leadership and the weight of the prophecy were crushing, and he prepared for the final battle with a mixture of courage and resignation. Thor, the god of thunder, was one of the most powerful warriors among the gods. His hammer, Mjolnir, was a symbol of his strength and his role in defending the cosmos. As the time of Ragnarok drew near, Thor prepared for battle with unwavering determination. His armor gleamed in the darkened sky, and his eyes burned with the fire of a warrior who would not yield. His battle against the forces of destruction was a last stand for the gods, and he would not go down without a fight. The Bifrost, the bridge that connected the realms of gods and men, was one of the most sacred and powerful structures in the cosmos. It was a symbol of the unity between the divine and mortal worlds, but as Ragnarok approached, the bridge began to crumble. The light that once flowed through it dimmed, and the rainbow that had once been a beacon of hope began to fade. The destruction of the Bifrost marked the end of the connection between the realms, and the gods were left to face their fate alone. Heimdall, the guardian of the gods, possessed the power to see and hear everything that occurred in the cosmos. As the prophecy unfolded, he stood vigilant on his cliff, his horn ready to sound the alarm. His senses were attuned to the coming of the end, and he could feel the approach of the great battle. His role was to warn the gods of the coming danger, but even his powers could not prevent the inevitable. The sound of his horn would echo across the realms as the final battle began. The battlefield of Ragnarok was a scene of ultimate devastation. The ground was covered in the remnants of gods and giants, their bodies broken and their strength spent. The clash of weapons and the cries of warriors echoed across the land as the forces of destruction met. The very earth shook with the impact of the battle, and the sky itself was darkened by the smoke and ash that filled the air. This was the moment when the cosmos would be torn apart. Freyr, the god of fertility and prosperity, was not a warrior, but he was destined to fall in the final battle. His armor, once a symbol of his power and his role in maintaining the balance of the world, now bore the marks of his struggle. Despite his peaceful nature, he understood the gravity of the situation and accepted his fate. His death was a sacrifice for the cosmos, a final act of devotion to the order that was about to crumble. Tyr, the god of justice and war, was known for his courage and his willingness to sacrifice for the greater good. In the final battle, he faced the great wolf Fenrir, who had broken free from his bonds. Tyr's sword was drawn, and he prepared to fight with all his might. His courage was legendary, and his sacrifice was a testament to the strength of the gods. The battle between Tyr and Fenrir was a tragic moment, one that would be remembered as the price of freedom. The eye of Odin, the Allfather, was said to see all things, even the future. In the moments before Ragnarok, His eye held the knowledge of what was to come. He could see the end of the world, the fall of the gods, and the rebirth of the cosmos. His gaze was filled with sorrow, but also with the understanding that this was the natural order of things. The Eye of Odin was a symbol of the divine wisdom that would guide the cosmos through the end and into the new beginning. Loki, the trickster god, played a crucial role in the events leading to Ragnarok. Though he was not a warrior, his cunning and his ability to manipulate the forces of chaos made him a powerful figure. As the battle began, Loki stood among the giants, guiding their efforts against the gods. His presence was a reminder of the dark forces that had always been present in the cosmos, and his actions were a key part of the prophecy that would lead to the end of the world. The world of men was not spared from the chaos of Ragnarok. As the gods fell, the world itself began to crumble. Cities burned, people fled in terror, and the very ground shook with the force of the battle. The end of the world was not just a cosmic event, but a personal tragedy for all who lived in it. The people, who had once looked to the gods for protection, now found themselves at the mercy of the forces of destruction. The sky itself began to tear apart as the forces of Ragnarok reached their peak. The heavens, once a symbol of divine order, were torn asunder by the power of destruction. A vast, dark void opened in the sky, revealing the chaos that lay beyond. The gods, who had once controlled the heavens, were now powerless to prevent the cosmic upheaval. The sky was no longer a barrier, but a gateway to the end of everything. Freya, the goddess of love, beauty, and war, was among the many gods who would fall in the final battle. Her presence on the battlefield was a reminder of the tragic nature of the prophecy. Though she was not a warrior, she understood the gravity of the situation and the sacrifices that would be required. Her tears fell as she watched the gods fall, and her grief was a testament to the loss of a world that had once been full of life and beauty. Vidar, the silent god, was one of the few who would survive the end of the world. His role in the prophecy was to avenge the death of his father, Odin, and to ensure that the cosmic order would be restored. Though he was not a warrior in the traditional sense, his strength was immense, and his determination was unwavering. His silence was not a sign of weakness, but a symbol of the strength that would be required to rebuild the world after the destruction. The world itself was consumed by fire as the forces of Ragnarok reached their climax. A massive fireball, born from the chaos of the cosmos, engulfed the earth and all that lived upon it. The sky was darkened, the land was scorched, and the very air was filled with the heat of destruction. This was the moment of ultimate annihilation, when the cosmos would be reduced to nothingness and the cycle of destruction would come to an end. The world of men and gods alike was left in ruins as the battle concluded. The earth was cracked and broken, the sky was darkened, and the remnants of the cosmos were scattered across the land. The gods who had once stood as symbols of order and power were now gone, their bodies broken, and their spirits scattered. The world was a testament to the power of destruction, and the end of the old order was complete. Yet, from the ashes of destruction, a new world was born. A single glowing tree stood in the midst of the ruins, a symbol of hope and renewal. The cycle of destruction and rebirth was complete, and the cosmos would begin anew. The gods had fallen, but the world would continue, and the cycle would begin again. The tree, a symbol of life and growth, was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was always the possibility of renewal. The new world, though scarred by the battle, was filled with the promise of a new beginning. The sky cleared, the sun shone once more, and the earth was restored to its former beauty. The cycle of destruction and rebirth had been completed, and the cosmos would continue its eternal dance. The gods had fallen, but their legacy would live on in the new world that was born from the ashes of the old. The end of Ragnarok was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter in the history of the cosmos. The new gods, born from the ashes of the old, stood on the earth, ready to begin their reign in the new world. Though they were not the same as the gods of the old order, they carried forward the legacy of those who had fallen. The cycle of the cosmos continued, and the new gods would face their own challenges and battles. The end of Ragnarok was not a defeat, but a transformation, a rebirth that would ensure the continuation of life and order in the universe. In the beginning, According to Norse mythology, there was only the void of Ginnungagap, a cosmic abyss where the primordial forces of fire and ice met. This primordial chaos birthed the first beings, the frost giant Ymir and the cow Audhumla, laying the foundation for the Norse universe. The ancient texts describe this timeless moment as a cosmic birth, where order emerged from disorder, setting the stage for the intricate cosmology that would define the Viking worldview and influence storytelling for millennia. The concept of Yggdrasil, the world tree, is central to Norse cosmology, representing the interconnectedness of all 9 worlds. From its roots in the underworld to its branches reaching into the heavens, the cosmic tree symbolizes the cyclical nature of existence, where life and death, creation and destruction are intertwined. This idea of cosmic interconnectedness profoundly shaped how Norse storytellers viewed the universe and continues to influence modern fantasy narratives, where characters often traverse multiple realms and encounter mythological beings. The Norse cosmology's depiction of the cosmos as a living, breathing entity, where gods, giants, and mortals coexist in a complex web of fate and destiny, became a cornerstone of mythological storytelling. The narrative of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, presents a cyclical destruction and rebirth that resonates with modern audiences. This cosmic perspective, where the universe itself is subject to eternal cycles, has influenced countless authors and filmmakers who seek to explore themes of fate, chaos, and renewal in their works. The influence of Norse cosmogony on literature can be traced back to the earliest written texts, where the intricate details of the 9 worlds, from Asgard to Hel, were meticulously recorded. These ancient manuscripts served as the foundation for later mythological works, inspiring writers like J.R.R. Tolkien, who drew heavily from Norse mythology in his creation of Middle-earth. The Norse concepts of time and space, where the universe is both linear and cyclical, have shaped how modern authors approach narrative structure and character development. In the realm of visual arts, Norse cosmology has provided a rich tapestry of imagery and symbolism that continues to inspire artists. The iconic figures of Thor, Loki, and Odin, along with the cosmic tree Yggdrasil, have become recurring motifs in paintings, sculptures, and digital art. Artists often incorporate the Norse concept of the interconnected worlds, using visual metaphors to represent the cyclical nature of existence, where the past, present, and future are not separate, but part of a continuous cosmic dance. The cinematic medium has embraced Norse mythology with great enthusiasm, particularly in recent decades. Films like Thor, God of War, and Vikings have brought the ancient Norse cosmogony to life, showcasing the grandeur and darkness of the mythological universe. These adaptations often emphasize the cyclical nature of the cosmos, where heroes must face their destinies in a world where gods and mortals are bound by fate, echoing the ancient belief in the eternal struggle between order and chaos. In the world of comics and graphic novels, Norse mythology has become a powerful source of inspiration. The dark mythological themes of Norse cosmogony, with its emphasis on gods, giants, and cosmic battles, have shaped the visual and narrative language of many popular series. Characters like Thor, Loki, and Odin have been reimagined in modern contexts, often retaining the core mythological elements while adapting to contemporary storytelling techniques, thus ensuring the enduring relevance of Norse cosmogony in popular culture. The influence of Norse cosmogony extends to video games, where the concept of the 9 worlds and the cosmic tree are often used to structure game worlds and narratives. Games like God of War and Assassin's Creed Valhalla incorporate Norse mythological elements, creating immersive environments that reflect the ancient worldview. These digital experiences allow players to explore the cosmic cycles and mythological themes, providing a modern lens through which to understand and engage with the timeless stories of the Norse cosmos. In contemporary culture, the Norse cosmogony continues to be a subject of academic study and public fascination. Museums and cultural institutions often feature exhibits that explore the ancient myths and their modern interpretations, highlighting how the Norse worldview has influenced everything from literature to fashion. The cyclical nature of the cosmos, as depicted in Norse mythology, resonates with modern audiences who are grappling with themes of environmental destruction and renewal, making these ancient stories profoundly relevant. The enduring legacy of Norse cosmogony is evident in the way modern heroes are constructed. The archetype of the Norse warrior, with their connection to the cosmic forces and their acceptance of fate, has been adapted into contemporary superhero narratives. Characters like Thor, who embodies the divine power of the Norse gods, and Loki, whose cunning and trickery reflect the chaotic nature of the cosmos, have become iconic figures in modern storytelling, demonstrating how ancient myths continue to shape our understanding of heroism and destiny. The concept of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, has profoundly influenced how modern writers approach themes of destruction and rebirth. The Norse belief in the cyclical nature of time, where the universe is destined to be destroyed and then recreated, provides a powerful narrative framework for exploring the consequences of human actions. This cosmic perspective, where the fate of the world is tied to the actions of gods and mortals alike, continues to inspire authors who seek to create epic tales of survival and renewal. The Norse cosmogony's emphasis on the interplay between fate and free will has become a central theme in modern storytelling. The idea that gods, giants, and mortals are all subject to the cosmic cycles of creation and destruction has influenced how contemporary authors craft their narratives. This concept, where individual actions have profound consequences within a larger cosmic framework, allows for complex character development and rich thematic exploration, making Norse mythology a powerful source of inspiration for modern creators. The visual language of Norse cosmogony has had a lasting impact on the way modern artists approach mythological themes. The stark elemental imagery of the nine worlds, the cosmic tree, and the mythological creatures of the Norse universe provides a rich visual vocabulary that continues to resonate with contemporary audiences. Artists often use the Norse concept of the interconnected cosmos to create symbolic narratives that speak to the human condition, blending ancient myth with modern aesthetic sensibilities. In the digital age, Norse cosmogony has found new life in interactive media, where players can explore the nine worlds and interact with mythological beings. The immersive nature of video games allows for a deeper engagement with the cosmic themes of Norse mythology, enabling players to experience the cyclical nature of the universe firsthand. These digital experiences, which often incorporate the mythological concepts of fate, chaos, and cosmic rebirth, have helped to introduce new generations to the timeless stories of the Norse cosmos. The influence of Norse cosmogony on literature continues to evolve, with contemporary authors drawing on ancient myths to create new narratives that resonate with modern readers. The cyclical nature of time, the interconnectedness of all beings, and the eternal struggle between order and chaos are themes that appear in both classic and modern works. Writers often use the Norse worldview as a lens through which to examine contemporary issues, blending ancient wisdom with modern insights to create compelling and thought-provoking stories. The enduring appeal of Norse cosmogony is also evident in the world of music, where bands and artists draw inspiration from the mythological universe to create powerful and evocative soundscapes. The themes of cosmic battles, the eternal struggle between gods and giants, and the cyclical nature of time have been translated into musical compositions that capture the dark and mysterious essence of the Norse cosmos. These musical interpretations continue to bring the ancient myths to life, connecting modern audiences with the timeless stories of the Norse universe. In educational settings, the Norse cosmogony remains a powerful tool for exploring themes of mythology, history, and culture. Museums and cultural institutions often use the Norse worldview to engage visitors with complex ideas about the nature of existence, the relationship between gods and mortals, and the cyclical nature of time. These educational efforts help to preserve and transmit the ancient myths to new generations, ensuring that the influence of Norse cosmogony on modern culture continues to grow and evolve. The influence of Norse cosmogony on modern filmmaking is profound and far-reaching, with directors and producers often drawing on the rich mythological landscape to create visually stunning and thematically complex narratives. The cosmic elements of the Norse universe, from the nine worlds to the cosmic tree, provide a rich backdrop for storytelling that explores the human condition through the lens of ancient myth. These cinematic adaptations not only entertain but also educate, bringing the timeless themes of Norse cosmogony to a global audience. Contemporary art has embraced the Norse cosmogony as a source of inspiration for creating immersive and thought-provoking installations. Artists often use the mythological elements of the Norse universe to explore themes of time, fate, and the interconnectedness of all beings. These installations, which often incorporate the cosmic tree and the nine worlds, invite viewers to engage with the ancient myths in a personal and meaningful way, demonstrating how Norse cosmogony continues to influence the way we understand and interpret the world around us. The legacy of Norse cosmogony in literature is a testament to the enduring power of ancient myths to shape modern storytelling. Writers continue to find inspiration in the cosmic cycles, the mythological creatures, and the complex relationships between gods and mortals that define the Norse universe. This ongoing influence ensures that the themes of creation, destruction, and cosmic renewal remain relevant in contemporary narratives, providing a rich foundation for exploring the human experience through the lens of timeless mythological wisdom. In the digital realm, Norse cosmogony has found new expression through digital art and animation, where the mythological elements are reimagined using modern technology. Artists and animators use the cosmic tree, the nine worlds, and the mythological beings to create visually stunning works that bridge the gap between ancient and modern storytelling. These digital interpretations of Norse cosmogony not only preserve the mythological elements, but also adapt them to contemporary audiences, ensuring that the influence of these ancient stories continues to grow. The influence of Norse cosmogony on contemporary fantasy literature is undeniable, with many authors incorporating the mythological elements into their works to create rich and immersive worlds. The concept of the cosmic tree, the nine worlds, and the cyclical nature of time are often used as foundational elements in fantasy narratives, providing a framework for exploring complex themes of fate, destiny, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. These literary adaptations continue to expand the reach of Norse mythology, introducing new readers to the timeless stories of the Norse cosmos. In the world of blockbuster cinema, Norse cosmogony has become a powerful narrative tool, with major studios investing heavily in films that draw on the mythological universe of the Vikings. The dark and epic themes of Norse mythology, including the cosmic battles between gods and giants, the cyclical nature of time, and the eternal struggle for survival, provide a rich foundation for large-scale productions. These films not only entertain, but also educate audiences about the ancient myths, ensuring that the influence of Norse cosmogony continues to resonate in popular culture. The enduring influence of Norse cosmogony is also evident in the world of sculpture and three-dimensional art, where artists use the mythological elements to create powerful and evocative works. The cosmic tree, the nine worlds, and the mythological beings of the Norse universe provide a rich visual vocabulary that allows artists to explore themes of time, fate, and the interconnectedness of all things. These sculptural interpretations of Norse cosmogony continue to inspire new generations of artists, ensuring that the ancient myths remain a vital source of creative inspiration.